Hi, welcome back everybody to the Dog Cooking Show, the one and only, except this time we're on a completely new channel. We're on Daramgar TV. Daramgar is now officially going to be just on the back burner in case we need it for something else in the future. This is going to be the future home of the Dog Cooking Show. So hello, it's good to have all of you. It's good to see all of you. Everybody, thank you all for all of the gifted subs. Thank you, all of that. We're going to get all of the emotes migrated. We're going to get all the sub badges and stuff. So I'm sorry for that being a little bit behind. Drem, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. That was a crazy way to open off today. And so Malarison, hello, Moonha, hello, hello to Eliam, hello to Jack, hello to Trashcan Catmom, hello to Dosky. I see that everybody has pulled through for today. So it's good to have all of you. Again, I'm really, really sorry about needing to go to the new channel. And so we'll be just hosting, or rather rating from the original channel, from Daramgar, onto this for roughly the next couple of weeks. And then we will be finally fully settled and migrated into here. So it's good to have all of you. It's good to see all of my lovely familiar faces. I'm a little sad about having to leave the old channel behind, especially because we did just hit, like, I don't know, 11,000 subs. And also Dosky with 21 gifted subs. Dosky did that specifically to spite Drem. Dosky did that only to have one more gifted sub over Drem so that he could be on top of the gifted leaderboard. I can't believe this. Also, gosh, is that another sub of some kind? I think it's Serena that just gave a sub. Serena, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Chat has just taken a second to catch up with everything. Okay, so everybody, welcome on in. It's good to have all of you. We're going to be jumping in today, and we're going to be making some matzo ball soup. I'm a little... You know what? That's fine. That's fine. We're having a little bit of a gifted sub off, and at the end of the day, I'm the one that continuously profits. So, Drem, thank you so much for another 20 gifted subs. But guys, I'm a little bit sick today. I'm coming out of a cold. I think I'm also getting hit with some allergies simultaneously. And so I wanted to make something comfy today. I wanted to make something cozy today. I want to make a dish that I grew up with. I grew up Russian Jewish. And so we're going to be making a lovely matzo ball soup today, my friends. And the beauty of this matzo ball soup is it's going to be simple. It's going to be cozy. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be chewy. Also, thank you so much for the sub. It looks like my chat is a little bit behind at the moment. Thank you to Liam for the sub. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. But yeah, guys, we're going to be doing a beautiful matzo ball soup. And the reason why we're doing this is because it's a very nice way to use up my existing leftovers. I have my chicken parts, I have my chicken legs, I have my chicken backbone, and we're going to make a delicious homemade chicken stock. And then we're going to make matzo balls from scratch. I'll be doing my own modification using ghee. And so, Dosky, with another 19 gifted subs, guys, keep having this contest. That's okay. You guys are like auctioneers at the moment, right? You guys are bidding, and I have absolutely no qualms with that whatsoever. Also, thank you so much for the sub from Sussy Among E. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, I'm very happy about this. Thank you. So let's talk about some of our ingredients for today. As always, with the matzo ball soup, we have matzah meal. Matzah meal is essentially just matzah, right? This Jewish flatbread that has just been ground down into a powder. So it's a little bit finer than something like a breadcrumb. And the reason why matzah would be traditionally eaten by Jews is because during Passover, there would be a very harsh ban on anything leavened, right? So you wouldn't have anything with yeast in it. You wouldn't have anything with sourdough. You would eat only unleavened bread. And so this matzah meal, essentially like a super fine breadcrumb, is going to become these beautiful dumplings known as matzah balls. Okay, so we have some matzah meal. What else do we have for today? Guys, I have a bunch of chicken that I wanted to use up. Also, thank you so much for John Dahlia for the sub. Thank you, thank you. Guys, I have all of this beautiful chicken. I have some chicken legs, I have some chicken backbones, and I have some chicken wings. We're going to be making a beautiful homemade chicken stock with all of these pieces, and then we'll be taking the meat from the legs and taking the meat from the wings so that we can go ahead and just shred it up and make it all nice and delicious. So we have all of this chicken, my friends, all ready to go for you today. What else do we have? We also have 10 eggs. It looks like a lot of eggs because it is. We're going to be making also some egg salad today because I have some eggs. I wanted something with some extra protein. And Liam, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. That's incredibly sweet of you. So guys, I have a bunch of eggs. We're going to be making some of it going towards the matzo balls. Some of it will be going towards the egg salad for today. And then let's talk about some of the vegetables. And we're keeping it super simple, guys. I have some celery here, both for the soup and the egg salad. I have just one plain old simple carrot. I have some garlic and I have some lemons as well. Some lemon juice will go towards the egg salad. Some of it will be used towards just finishing up the matzo ball soup. And another bit of inspiration for today, my friends, was using up my existing herbs. Because in my fridge at the moment, I have just sitting. Also, thank you so much. Drem with 50 gifted subs. Okay, that's cool. That's nice. Thank you, Drem. I really appreciate it. You've officially funded single-handedly, I think, my entire cooking streams for like at least a month. So thank you. Guys, I have a bunch of dill. I still have some more cilantro, and I wanted to use up my dill. And dill is used all the time, especially in Eastern European food. So we're going to use some of the dill to be able to make our chicken stock with, okay? That's right. That is maybe the most amount of gifted subs aside from Hexeract, and I don't feel like it would be fair to compare people to Hexeract. And guys, last but not least, we have some scallions today that we'll be using up. Some of it will be used towards the chicken stock, some of it will be used towards the egg salad. So, before we begin, everybody, I'm happy to have all of you. Thank you for migrating with me into the new channel. Thank you all for being here. If anybody has any questions at any point in time about what we're making, about why we're making it, if anybody has any cooking questions, please feel free to ask me because I am here to help you guys out at the end of the day. So we gotta go ahead and make the chicken stock, then we gotta make the matzo mix, then we gotta start working on the vegetables, and then we gotta start doing the egg salad as well. So we have a lot of work coming up ahead of us. Everybody, let's go ahead and begin. And before we do so, if you'd like to financially support the show, the best way to do so, !Patreon to be able to directly support what we're doing here. As always, you can always type in !menu to get a full list of all the different ingredients and all the different things that we need out of today. And so everybody, we're going to begin by making our own homemade chicken stock. So we're starting off with a pressure cooker. Making a homemade chicken stock is one of the best ways to elevate your home cooking. Okay? And that's just because boxed chicken stock, not only is it unreasonably expensive, oftentimes the good kind is marketed as bone broth, right? You can pay anywhere from $2 to $6 for a little package of it. Homemade chicken broth is a very nice way to use up existing scraps. You're making the most out of your scraps, you don't have to throw as many things away, and you get a product that is much more delicious. Guys, if you're using a chicken stock that's like pre-boxed inside of a sauce, it's okay, but if you're making a matzo ball soup, from scratch, the matzo balls, they soak up that broth. You don't want to use a mediocre pre-bought chicken stock. You want to make something beautiful with a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of attention. Okay? Also, let's get one yes chef. Let's break in the new channel with one big resounding yes chef from everybody watching, please and thank you. The reason why we're using a pressure cooker for this today is, as always, I want to get you guys into the habit of making your own stocks at home. You can do this in a regular pot as well, but the reason why I want to keep emphasizing and keep asking you guys, please get a pressure cooker, is because it makes this process so much faster. Instead of needing to take 2 hours to make a chicken stock, you can make it in 40 minutes. And I think that is not a negligible difference whatsoever, especially if you're coming home from work, especially if you want to get something quick and delicious done. A pressure cooker for chicken stocks has become my absolute go-to. So we're going to make roughly 3 quarts of chicken stock for today. All of it is going to be used up for the soup at hand, okay? And remember when I talked about using up existing vegetable scraps? Well, that is the beauty with making your own chicken stock. Also, Eliam with another 10 gifted subs. Thank you. You are incredibly sweet today. Oh my gosh, we're already starting off with 163 subs, guys. Okay, cool. I have no qualms about this. Dosky, thank you for the 59 gifted subs. Thank you. You guys are being way too generous. Everybody, we have a bunch of celery and we have a bunch of carrot. And so instead of actually throwing all of this stuff away, right, like the carrot tops, instead of throwing away the celery bottoms, we're going to be using this ultimately for our final chicken stock. Okay, so all that I'm going to do is I'm going to slice off the dried off head, I'm going to slice off the dried off bottom part, and once again, instead of discarding these guys, I'm just going to go ahead and plop them into the water, and it's going to provide a little bit of extra sweetness. Similarly, guys, we have the celery here at hand, and so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just break off this dried off bottom part and basically peel this celery. Half of this celery is going to go towards my egg salad. And by peeling it in this way, we get to get rid of all of those super, super tough and chewy fibers. These fibers are the ones that end up getting stuck and caught in your teeth. Now, I will say, this isn't the world's freshest celery. So it's really flexible, it's really, really bendy at the moment. Okay, so it's not going to snap as cleanly as you would like, but I have this old celery and I wanted to use it up before it ends up going bad. Okay, so let's go ahead, and those fibers, especially as it ages, they just still stay super, super tough. You can just see these things, guys, like guitar strings. We're going to go ahead and just break them off on each on each of my lovely celery sticks. And as always, we're not going to be throwing it away. We're not going to be discarding it. We will just instead be using it towards the greater chicken stock. Okay, so let's finish peeling up all of the celery until we get all of the pure, nice, crispy parts, until we get all of those yucky fibers, those super, super toothsome fibers, all of them gone. Okie dokie. And now, I know this seems like a lot of waste, but again, this is really, really old celery at the moment, so it's this flexible and it's this bendy. So I'll be able to go ahead and get this into the pot. Awesome. And it's just going to provide a very nice level of herbaceousness. Now, let's go ahead and work on some of the scallions. Because again, guys, when it comes to the scallion bottoms, these parts, the part right here, normally that would get thrown away, but in this case, we'll also be using that towards the chicken stock. The only thing that you have to be careful of is just making sure that it's not too sandy. So you have to wash it out thoroughly. Also, thank you so much too. For whatever reason, my subs are delayed here. Thank you, Dosky, for the tier 3 sub for 6 months in advance. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, Dosky. That is incredible. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. Okay, so all I'm looking, guys, is I'm looking for all of the whites of my scallions, okay, that I trimmed them up just so that I can fit them inside of this box. Okay, awesome. And all of these scraps, my friends, all of them will be used towards the final chicken stock. And it's always really important to have that allium element in a chicken stock, be it onion, be it leeks, right? Because that allium element, guys, it just makes it so sweet, it makes it so delicious. Right? You really, really cannot have a chicken stock without some form of alliums inside. So all of my scallion bottoms, they're just going to go directly inside of the pot. And guys, no waste. We don't have to throw out anything, right? We're making the most out of all of our existing ingredients, and we're able to push them as far as they go. Well, Dosky, that was a very good choice, at least for me, so thank you. Okay, a couple more things, guys. We're going to get a couple of garlic cloves. I want an aggressive amount of garlic, and this is something that I really do heavily associate, at least with the kind of Jewish food I ate growing up, which is a plethora of garlic. So, guys, I am adding 4 garlic cloves directly into my chicken stock for today, because I want it to infuse. I want it to make it nice and aromatic, okay? I want to make it nice and aromatic. I want to make it nice and delicious. And so we will need plenty and plenty of garlic cloves. So let's go ahead. Let's smash them down to peel them up just to get that yucky skin off of them. Guys, we're starting off strong today. I wanted to make a really delicious meal that will help me get over my cold. The matzo ball soup. I mean, this is classically what you would eat growing up if you were sick, but also I love matzo balls. If any of you guys, hold on, I have a question. Is there anybody here who has never had a matzo ball soup? Ooh, that garlic clove, not looking so good. Is there anybody here who's never had it? I'm just pretty curious about this. Me, chef, me. Ooh, a couple of Europeans I see in the chat that have never had this before. Okay, and the beauty of a matzo ball soup is it's essentially this super, super thick dumpling. And when I say dumpling, again, I don't mean like a stuffed dumpling, right? Like not like a Chinese dumpling, but I mean it in the sense of like a chicken and dumpling, okay? So you have this big, beautiful mass of dough, and it has this awesome chewiness to it. I love really, really dense matzo balls. Okay, and we'll talk about all of our different methods to be able to achieve that. But guys, if you've never had a matzo ball soup, I'm telling you, the most comforting thing that you can do for yourself, find like a local like Jewish deli or like a Jewish diner. They typically have a matzo ball soup, get it, and then you will understand just how delicious and comfortable it is. You have these big doughy balls. Watch it. You have these big starchy balls that are just really, really soft and they're tender, and they also have this lovely chewiness, and they're so flavorful because they soak up the soup. It soaks up the broth. And so it gets flavored with all of that incredible broth that you make. And that is why you need a homemade chicken stock, guys. That's why you don't want a pre-made one. You don't want a boxed one. Make it yourself, make it special. So a bunch of garlic cloves going directly inside. Okay, and we're also going to need a couple of more things. So I have parsley. I want to use up the parsley today. My parsley is beginning to get quite old. You can see how saggy it is. You can see how limp it is. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and the really, really limp ones I'm going to put in as is. Okay, otherwise the still fresh leaves I'm going to use for my egg salad today. So guys, no waste. Everything about today is using up my existing leftovers. I had leftover celery that was getting a little bit old. I had leftover parsley. I had leftover dill. And so we don't have to waste any of this, everybody. We get to go ahead and make the most out of it, and we get to give everything new life. Okay? It is okay for some ingredients to be stale. It is okay for some ingredients to not be the freshest things in the world. It is 100% okay, my friends, because as an ingredient gets older, it is sometimes better suited for other things. It's not going to be as fresh and aromatic as it was before, but that does not mean that we have to throw it away unless it was visibly molding. So guys, just because my parsley is all saggy, because my parsley is all flaccid, does not mean we can't use it today. Okay? So we gotta still give it some love, my friends. All of your ingredients, they're still worthy of love. They're still worthy of love and care and affection. Okay? Give them some love. Give them some good, tender treatment. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep on plucking all of my parsley until I'm left with nothing but the leaves. Okay? Or just all the saggy parts. I'm only putting in leaves and all. Otherwise, all of those stems, they've got to go. Okay, and the reason why we take off the parsley stems is normally they're a little too woody, they're a little too toothsome for my taste, and I don't really like that texture all that much. Okay, these leaves are all kind of old at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and put them directly into my broth, guys, and I know they'll lose a little bit of flavor over the course of the cooking process, but it's better than just throwing all of it away instead. And this parsley I'm going to use for my egg salad today, and all of these guys, we'll just go ahead and throw it right into my pot. I want to have an aromatic stock, my friends. I want to have a flavorful stock. Chat, do we want a bland stock? I want to hear a nice no, chef, please, and thank you. So we're really loading it up with a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of affection. Okay. And I'll just get that back into the fridge. And then we're gonna have to do a similar thing with the rest of my herbs here. Everybody, I have a load of a load of dill, excuse me. And I have to say, dill is one of the most underappreciated herbs. People think of dill purely as something to serve with salmon, right? They sort of pigeonhole themselves into that, and I don't think that's a very good way of going about it. Dill can be so beautiful, dill can be so aromatic, and it looks like I have even more parsley here, but I don't think I really want to deal with that at the moment, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get some more dill out. Yeah, I just had a big bundle of mixed herbs. Or is that cilantro? I do believe that's cilantro, and I don't think we need any cilantro for today. Also, 1,000 bits from Dosky. Thank you so much. Dosky, you have been way too generous today. Really, really appreciate you. 1,000 bits, so many subs. Guys, truthfully, I am eating today. In the truest sense of the word, I am absolutely eating. Okay? So thank you. Okay, so we're going to get a couple of just whole, well, I also have some cilantro here that I didn't completely do away with. I don't really want any cilantro in today's dish, and that's purely because I'm trying to keep like a fairly Eastern European flavor profile, especially like Ashkenazi Jewish flavor profile, and cilantro would not be the most common herb that was used. But however, if you guys wanted to use cilantro, you absolutely can. The beauty of fresh herbs, the beauty of cooking at home is that you get to make these kinds of decisions when you want. Guys, if you want to have cilantro in your egg salad, if you want to have cilantro in your chicken soup, by all means, please go ahead. For today, though, I'm trying to evoke a specific childhood memory that I've had, right, which was eating this specific type of food, and it wouldn't necessarily have cilantro featured. And so, in order to sort of stay true to that, and to stay true to my experiences and my intentions, I'm not going to be adding any cilantro today, okay? So, I'm going to do a couple of just whole things of some dill, okay? And it's just going to go directly into the pot. And then alongside it, everybody, we're just going to go ahead and get all of the stems. And as always, we don't throw those stems away. We'll just be using them for the chicken stock. Aren't chicken stocks or just making stocks so creatively pleasing? You get to use up all of these scraps, you get to feel a little bit better about not wasting things, and those scraps, my friends, you are just giving them new life. I find that it's quite important to take the stems off of especially dill, because with dill, they tend to be really, really unpleasant in texture for me. Okay, so I'm going through this, I'm getting all of those little fronds off, and all of those stems nice and separated. And then we'll be slicing it later on for use both in the soup as well as in the egg salad. I love having a very herbaceous, very herb-focused egg salad, guys. I love having it with a lot of greenery, a lot of scallions inside of it, a lot of acidity from the lemon juice. I do not like most American egg salads, and I hate most American potato salads. American egg salads and potato salads, guys, I have to say, they're just so overwhelmingly sweet. People add in sugar, and it's nothing but mayonnaise. They do so much mayonnaise. I love doing mine with sour cream. I love doing mine with fresh herbs. It makes it so much greener. It makes it so much lighter. Okay? Chat, do I have any egg salad haters? Okay? I find that egg salad and potato salad are oftentimes quite controversial. You either love it or you hate it. And the beauty of my egg salad, the beauty of my potato salads that I do, is because, I'm very, very light on the sour cream portion, and I really let the fresh herbs sing inside of it, okay? So we're almost done picking the fronds. We're almost done. We're almost done. Just keep it picking, guys. Keep it plucking. I'll just use that little cilantro leaf. Why not? Okay, all of those stems and all. Fine, I'll just put all these little cilantro stems into the chicken stock. It's not going to be a significant amount. I don't think it'll really taste like much, but that's okay. Okay, and there you go. And there you go. Awesome. Just keep it picking, everybody. Keep it picking, keep it picking. Yeah, American egg salads, not so good. Right, they're super, super sweet. They're covered in mayonnaise. Right, they don't have any balance with acidity. They don't have any balance with anything else inside of it. So it's just not my thing. Right, and so I want to show you guys an alternative path. Okay, almost done picking all of the little fronds off of my dill. This takes a bit of time. Everybody, thank you for being patient with me. I'm a little bit sick today. I'm a little bit sniffly. I've luckily stopped sneezing, knock on wood, that I don't sneeze again in the middle of the show. But a nice little chicken soup, so comforting when you are sick, so nice to have. Okay, and a few more. Oh my gosh, there's no way I need to sneeze now. Now, of all times, as soon as I said I don't need to. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little upset about that. I'm trying my best to fight back the urge to sneeze. I don't really want to sneeze on camera. Like that. Also, Paris 220, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Okay, so guys, all of these little fresh fronds, all of that is going to be used towards, of course, the egg salad and garnishing and finishing the soup off with. Okay, and then all of my stems, instead of simply throwing them away, we're just going to be going ahead and putting this into the final chicken stock. Okay, guys, we're minimizing waste. We're making the most out of all of our existing ingredients. So in goes all of that. And now, last but not least, everybody, let's go ahead and get some bay leaves, because you gotta have some bay leaves in a chicken stock. It just makes it nice and herbaceous. It just adds a really lovely flavor. Okay, so a bunch of bay leaves gonna go directly inside. Okay, and I want a bunch. I want a flavorful chicken stock, guys. I don't want a bland chicken stock. I want to give it a lot of love. I want to give it a lot of care and a lot of attention. Okay, so all of those herbs going into my pressure cooker pot. Okay, all of it inside. And everybody, last but certainly not least, is the most important component, my chicken bones. Specifically, I have 2 wings, I have 2 legs, and I have my chicken carcass. We broke down a whole chicken ourselves on stream. And everybody, this is why I want you all to buy whole chickens. You buy whole chickens and you are left with this beautiful byproduct that is the chicken carcass. This chicken carcass is going to yield the most delicious homemade stock. We also have these chicken wings as well as my chicken legs. And all of it's got to go in. We'll get the meat nice and tender. We'll be shredding the meat up and putting it into the soup. And we'll be getting a delicious, meaty, flavorful chicken broth, everybody, okay? This also has my thigh bones that I once took out. All of it inside. Would the real Daramgar please stand up? That's me. So, everybody, let's do a little recap session. What do we have in this lovely pot? I have all of my leftover chicken bones. My chicken backbone, my chicken leg bones, my chicken legs, as well as my chicken wings. I have some garlic, and I have all of my vegetable scraps. My dill stems, I have my parsley stems, I have my carrot scraps, my celery scraps, as well as my scallion scraps. We're going to be doing this on a high pressure. Also, thank you so much, Dosky, for the gifted sub. Thank you, thank you. We'll be doing this on high pressure for 50 minutes. My goal is to get the chicken legs fall apart tender so that we can shred it up and put it into the soup. My goal is to get all of that collagen converted into gelatin. The gelatin becomes water soluble and we obtain a beautiful meaty stock. So, everybody, I'm going to take this pot, high pressure, 50 minutes, 3 quarts of water, roughly, and we will go ahead and just get that going. Whew. So we're not doing anything crazy. There's gonna be no sauteing today. There's not gonna be any crazy processes, guys. This is gonna be a very basic, very clean, very delicious chicken soup, okay? And the only thing I have kind of left to do is I just have all of this dill that I wanna go ahead and get transferred into a little container with a paper towel, just to be able to keep it all nice and fresh today. Okay. So, everybody, once again, we're doing matzo ball soup, and while the matzo ball soup is actually being made, we'll be making a really delicious homemade egg salad, okay? And I hate the way that most people treat their egg salads. I'm gonna show you how to make it light and acidic and flavorful, okay? And in the meantime, I'll be putting all of this dill back into the fridge since we have no present use for it. Chef, I broke down a chicken. Jack, how'd it go? I hope it went well. Okay, so that goes into the fridge. And the next thing that we have to worry about is making the matzo balls. But first, I think I have to sneeze actually. Excuse me, I don't want to do this on camera. Oh, guys, it's just at the tip of my nose. Oh no. This sucks. I hate being sick. I hate being sick, and I hope the matzo balls really help. Whew. Let's have a little sip of water instead and be normal about it. Okay. So, hi, welcome back. Everybody, we now need to make the matzo balls for today. And my inspiration, actually, one of my big sources of inspiration was that I recently bought this big thing of ghee. Okay, so let's talk about this really quickly. Fat is flavor, and the fat that you use in a dish is as much of an ingredient as everything else is. And this is very apparent with something like ghee. Traditionally, matzo balls are made out of something called schmaltz. Schmaltz is essentially the melted down chicken fat from your chicken scraps, from your chicken skin, so on and so forth. I don't have schmaltz. Buying schmaltz is also very expensive. Okay, so some people, they would just substitute it with regular vegetable oil. Okay, and I have a problem with that. My problem with plain old vegetable oil is it is flavorless. It is flavorless, if not slightly off in flavor at all. My goal is to obtain a delicious, really, really flavorful matzo ball, my friends. And so, ghee is this clarified butter. Butter normally has a lot of water, and it also has something called milk solids. The water does prevent it from getting as much fat as you want inside ideally, and the milk solids cause it to brown. And so I already have this ghee. So guys, I'm gonna make matzo balls using ghee. Now traditionally in Jewish food, in kosher law, you wouldn't mix milk and meat. Specifically, you wouldn't mix a dairy product with like a meat broth. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. I grew up Jewish, ethnically, right? That is my culture. That is not a religion that I follow though. Okay, and so there's a lot of strong cultural traditions and foods that I really, really love, but we can go ahead and break tradition today. If you wanted to keep this kosher, you would instead use schmaltz, which is the chicken fat, or you would use a separate oil, but you wouldn't use a dairy product. I'm using a dairy product, again, because these are not necessarily laws and things that I'm following for myself, but I still want to be able to evoke the food of my childhood. So, I have all of this lovely ghee, my friends, and we need to go ahead and get roughly a quarter cup or so. The matzo balls that I'm basing this off of are the Serious Eats matzo balls. I've never actually made them before, aside from once when I was really little, and we'll talk about some of the theory that goes into it. Okay, so I have these lovely, So I have all of this ghee, and now the goal, we gotta get the ghee out of here, and we gotta get it measured out roughly a quarter cup or so. Okay, so I have a quarter cup measuring cup. I honestly don't really know a good way to do this because the ghee is so hard compared to real butter or like actual plain butter. It just feels so much more solid that you have to like really, really dig at it to be able to get like anything out of a jar. Okay, so I'm gonna be roughly measuring it out when it's still somewhat solid. A 1/4 cup of ghee, my friends. And again, I implore you, use schmaltz, use just plain butter, use ghee, use the nicest fat that you can think of. Something like an olive oil, it has a little bit too much off flavor, too many other components that really don't sort of go along with this cuisine. Okay, but I just implore you to be really, really creative with the kind of fat that you choose. Okay, so let's go ahead and just keep on scooping it up. Let's keep on scooping it. Let's keep on scooping it until I get to roughly a 1/4 cup of ghee or so. And the beauty, guys, is that this is basically a dumpling. It's a very, very rough dough. So if your proportions aren't exact, then it's going to be totally okay. If your proportions aren't 100% perfect, it's totally fine. Right? I've never made matzo balls. I think matzo balls are delicious, though, and so I want to hopefully recreate this food from my childhood. So let's get all of this ghee, all of it, and we got to get it nice and melted inside of the microwave as well. Okay, so I'm just going to keep packing it in until I have a 1/4 cup or so. I know this is a bit of a laborious process. I know, everybody. I know. It's a little bit annoying, but that's okay. Okay, and everybody, we're going to do a little bit extra on top just in case that we did underfill it and we have a couple of pockets. Chef, can you speak a little German? I don't believe that I can. So we're going to go ahead and get some extra out. And all of this, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and scoop it out. All of that lovely ghee, it's all going to go in. Awesome. And then we'll be using this to measure out roughly a 1/4 cup or so. So I'm just going to put this in my microwave for like a few second increments until it's all melted to my liking. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. And we're going to do 10 seconds. Melt it, mix it, 10 seconds. Guys, you really want to be careful about not overheating fats in a microwave because they could splash up, they could start bursting as they come into contact with the moisture. Okay, so the best way to really go about it is 10 seconds at a time and then just give it a little mix. Okay, so I know it doesn't look like much yet, it's just gotten slightly softened. Okay, and let's mix it up and put it back in for another 10 seconds. Well, we can just do 20. It's a ghee after all, there's no more water content inside. Okay, I can probably just go ahead and get rid of this container now. We've gotten everything that we want. Okay, and just a few more seconds, everybody. We'll get it done and it'll be nice and delicious. Okay, so thank you all for your patience. Also, if anybody has any questions, once again, as always, you're more than welcome and encouraged to ask me. Okay, so the ghee is becoming to get all melted up, my friends. I just want it to be nice and liquid. We don't necessarily need it hot. We just need it liquid enough that we're able to easily mix it into things. Also, Samim, welcome on in. Also, a nameless, a chicken pot pie with phyllo dough. That sounds phenomenal. That sounds really delicious because I love the way that phyllo dough gets so crispy. It is the best. Okay. And then we're also going to need to go ahead and get a separate bowl for wet and dry ingredients. Kishma 9, welcome on in. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing day today. Okay, this is the bowl where we will be mixing in all of our wet ingredients. Okay, and everybody, I do believe that my ghee is now fully and absolutely melted. Okay, so once again, we only need a 1/4 cup or so. And all of these ratios that I'm taking today, they do come from Serious Eats. Okay. Yeah, I think this mixing bowl should be big enough for today. I'm just making sure that I have no more chunks inside, but also if you do, it's not going to be the end of the world or anything. So, there you go. And we're going to roughly pull out a 1/4 cup. Oh, look at that. Right to the top. Exactly a 1/4 cup. Didn't even need to do all that. Just like that. All of it inside, my friends. Let's get that all in. Excellent. And then I'm also going to go ahead and get basically the same amount of volume in water. Now, it is my understanding here that you do actually have a bit of an option. You do have a bit of a choice. If you want to get lighter matzo balls, you can use carbonated water. You can just use some seltzer instead. Okay? And that is only, again, if you want really, really light, fluffy ones. I don't want light, fluffy ones. The kinds of matzo balls I want, my friends, are dense ones. I want dense, beautifully chewy matzo balls. Okay? Dense, chewy matzo balls, they got like that, they really, really soak up the liquid, right? That is what I love. I love it when they sink to the bottom, okay? Those are the kind that I grew up with, and that's what we will be evoking today. So, quarter cup of melted ghee, quarter cup of water inside as well. Chef, do you have a professional cooking background or am I just a passionate hobbyist? I would consider myself amateur professional, Tucelli. Okay? Meaning I've been cooking since I was 7 years old. I used to apprentice when I was 13 in a couple of restaurants, but I'm otherwise self-taught. So to call myself a hobbyist, I feel like would be a little bit of an understatement. I consider myself like a competitive chef, right? I feel like is the best way to put it. Okay, everybody, we will now need 4 eggs. The rest of them will be used towards the hard-boiled eggs for today. So, eggs, how do we crack them? Well, a lot of people, the way that they grew up cracking eggs is on the edge of a bowl, on the side of a bowl. While that's a thing that you can do, the reality is that by doing it on the edge of a bowl, it causes the eggshells to splinter into smaller bits. So it's very, very good practice instead, guys, to just use a flat surface. So I have a plate here, okay? Also, Tucelli, welcome, and how'd you find the cooking show? Okay, we have a flat surface in the form of this plate, okay? And we're gonna give it a nice big crack, harder than you think, and open it up, okay? And the reason the yolk broke is because we dropped it from so high up, but that's okay because we'll be blending all of this anyways. So guys, really, really hard crack and just pop it open. And this way, we don't get any little eggshells. Now, it can still happen that you'll get a few eggshells, but guys, again and again, the best method, flat surface, nice and firmly, and pop it inside. Okay, last but not least, flat surface, nice and firmly, and pop it inside. Beautiful. Okay, and as always, everybody, when we cook at home, we always have a waste bowl. I always have a separate bowl of scraps whenever I'm cooking, just so that I don't have to go back and forth to my trash can. Okay, instead of having to go back and forth to the trash can, keep your station neat, keep your station organized, and I will simply go ahead and get rid of this existing plate. Okay, so what do we have to do now, everybody? We have to season this mixture of ghee and egg and water, okay? So we're going to need a nice generous hit of kosher salt. And the reason why I'm using kosher salt is purely because it's easy to pinch. Any kind of salt would be okay. I also think I have to sneeze this time for real. Oh boy. Guys, I swear I have been almost sneezing for so long now. I'm losing my mind a little bit. Okay, so big pinch of salt because we don't want bland matzo balls. We want nice seasoned ones. So we're doing 3 big pinches of salt. And it doesn't have to be too exact. This isn't that exact of a science, okay? And a bunch of black pepper just to, again, continue to season it up. Just get it all seasoned, get it all inside as much as you would like, right? You can't really go with like too much black pepper or anything. Okay? All of that is done, and now everybody will be blending up all of these ingredients. We make sure that we mix the eggs separately before we actually add the matzo meal. And the reason why that's the case is because if we don't, we'll end up with streaks of egg white and egg yolk, okay? It's a lot more easy to mix all of the wet components together and the dry components before you combine them. So, we don't need to beat any air inside. We don't need any stiff peaks. Just 4 eggs. Oh, I splashed a little bit. That's okay. And we just go side to side. Side to side, easiest way just to be able to get everything nice and combined. Okay? So once again, 1/4 cup of ghee, a little bit of water, and 4 eggs, as well as some salt and pepper. All of it inside, guys, and just whisk it up. Side to side, side to side. We don't need any air. We're not whipping any air. We're not doing anything crazy like that. Also, can we get a moderator to hit that, please? And thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Okay, and we just want to make sure that we have no streaks of egg white whatsoever. Okay, that is all of our egg mixture, nicely beaten up, nicely mixed. Okay, and everybody, last but not least, the most essential component of today is going to be the matzo meal. Matzo meal is essentially just really, really finely ground up matzah. It is just flour and water, and it doesn't even typically have any salt in it, okay? So you really have to make sure that your mixture is nice and seasoned, otherwise you will end up with bland matzo balls. And I, personally, have no desire to have said bland matzo balls. Okay, you can see that the fat is beginning to congeal into little pieces. That's okay. That's just going to allow us to create these really, really lovely pockets. Okay, I'm gonna need roughly a cup or so, excuse me. We're just gonna need a cup of matzo meal, and I'll go ahead and get that all poured inside. And again, everybody, oh gosh, I ripped the bag too much. I ripped the bag so much, and it is all actually just kind of pouring out. Okay, so instead of pouring that directly over the bowl, right, so that we don't accidentally get too much matzo meal, I'm gonna do that in a separate vessel. Okay. How did I open this bag? I opened this bag in the worst possible way to get any scoop of anything inside. I have made it, truthfully, quite difficult for myself. So everybody take this as a reminder to please be a little bit more careful with how you are opening up your plastic bags. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and trim off a corner instead now, and now hopefully this should be able to just pour out. 1 cup of matzo meal. I do have clippers, just not on me at the moment. Okay. I apologize for being so sniffly, guys. Again, I am a little bit sick today. Okay, 1 cup. All the way, lovely. There you go. And it has spilled all over my cutting board. I have punctured the bag in a way that was not ideal. Okay, roughly 1 cup of matzo meal. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that into my bowl, and then I'm just gonna clean up my station. Because everybody, I'm not gonna lie, I made a bit of a mess just now, and that's okay. I'll put that back inside. And all of this leftover matzo meal, I'll just go ahead and get it transferred to this bowl. To the waste bowl. Another reason why you should have a waste bowl whenever you cook, guys. Having a waste bowl, you don't have to worry about things being sort of left on your cutting board or anything, okay? All of that has been done. And now let's go ahead and make the batter for the matzo balls themselves. And all that we really need to do, my friends, is just stir it up. Stir it up and combine it. And it's going to seem really, really wet at this stage. It's going to seem really, really wet. But everybody, the trick now, okay, I'm going to give you guys actually a piece of advice that applies to almost all cakes, applies to almost all cookies, matzo balls, dumplings, whatsoever. I need to hear a nice yes, chef, right now. Please and thank you. I need to make sure that all of you guys are listening to this one, okay? Because this is going to be important. I have one word for you. Hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. If you were to try and cook this matzo batter immediately, okay, you are going to end up with matzo balls that have fallen apart completely, okay, because they have lost a lot of their structural integrity. You need to rest your batters. You need to rest your batters, you need to rest your doughs. And the reason why is because it allows the flour, all of that starch in the matzo meal to actually finish absorbing all of that liquid. We have 4 eggs, we have a 1/4 cup of water, we have a 1/4 cup of ghee, okay? And by letting this sit at least for 30 minutes as a bare minimum inside of the fridge, you are going to end up with perfect matzo balls that don't lose their shape. If you don't hydrate the batter, it's going to seem a little bit too wet, it's not going to hold its shape, and it's going to fall apart. So you absolutely must rest your batters, rest your doughs, rest your cookie doughs. Guys, I'm telling you, take your favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. Take your favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe and don't get hasty. Don't bake it immediately. Wait overnight, then scoop it out, then bake it, and you will see how amazing your final product is. It is night and day, everybody. Okay? So I'm just making sure that I have no dry lumps. You can't really overmix this because it's like a breadcrumb, okay? And the only thing I'm gonna do is we're just gonna cover this up before this goes into the fridge so that my batter doesn't dry out. And I'm gonna double check my proportions on my phone. Have I been making banana bread wrong this whole time? Banana bread, it depends, because I feel like the texture you're trying to go for is a little bit custardy. So I wouldn't be able to tell you with banana bread, especially because I don't really make it. I'm sorry for stepping off camera so often, guys. I just don't want to wipe my nose in front of all of you, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the matzo mix. Just all of it inside. Awesome. Nice and easy. And also, if we do refrigerate it, we're also able to congeal that fat a little bit. And so the dough is just going to retain its structure a little bit more, okay? So don't cook this immediately. Again, 30 minutes is a minimum. A couple of hours is ideal. It's going to be at least 30 minutes for us. I don't actually know how long that it's going to take, but all I'm doing right now is I'm just washing off the batter and throwing it into my dishwasher off of my little spoons. Because remember, when we cook at home, we have to clean as we go. So everybody, really, really simple, really, really basic dough. All that we have in here, a cup of matzo meal, a quarter cup of ghee, a quarter cup of water, and 4 eggs. Big pinch of salt, big pinch of pepper. If you want very light, fluffy matzo balls, you would also do baking powder. If you want very light, fluffy matzo balls, you would also use some seltzer. In my case, I'm looking for very, very dense matzo balls. I don't want any leavening on them whatsoever. I want them to be dense, and I want them to be chewy, and I want them to be delicious, okay? So, let's get all of my plastic wrap. Let's get it open somehow. Everybody, I know I seem so professional and so good at this, but when it comes to taking plastic wrap out and opening a plastic bag, not my strongest suit. Okay. So, really, really simple. Does anybody have any questions for me thus far? We're keeping things super simple today. Everything is going to be really nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this into my fridge. Pop it in my fridge. Oh, I sound like a Food Network host. Does anybody say that? Oh, I'm just going to go pop this into my fridge. Okay? When did Dara start cooking? When I was about 7 years old. When I was 7 or 6. I've had a lifelong obsession with food. And so I've been cooking for 14 years because I'm 21. No one is a professional when it comes to plastic wrap? That's right. That's right. Actually, I can give some advice in that regard. There is something I can say about it, but I don't need to show it off right now because it would just be excessively wasteful. Okay. I am just going to go ahead and grab a paper towel because I still have some matzo meal hanging out on this that I'd like to clean up. Okay. Everybody, what do we need to do now? We have to go ahead and get the vegetables ready for the matzo ball soup today. Okay? It's okay, Shy Chica, the video isn't working. I'm not sure what video you're talking about. Everybody, we're gonna make the veggies for today's matzo ball soup, okay? And all that I have here, we're keeping it super, super simple. I have 2 celeries, all right? And I'm gonna keep the firmest one for the salads and the soggiest, the kind of most flaccid ones for the soup itself. Because I'd rather keep like the really, really firm, crunchy ones for the salad instead. Unfrozen on your screen? Well, how about a refresh? And I think that should be all okay. It should be all better. Oh, and we gotta slow things down from today. We don't actually have that much active work that we need to do together. The chicken broth isn't even beginning to pressure cook yet. So let's take it easy. Let's go ahead and slow this down for a second. We gotta go ahead and obtain a really, really beautiful fine dice. Okay, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be peeling up my carrots. I'll first dump it out to my waste bowl. And we're not making a crazy amount of soup today, okay? Just a little bit. So I have some carrot, okay? All that we're going to do is peel it. Now, there is a reason why I don't use the carrot peels in my chicken stock. And that's because the carrot peels are so thin that they'll basically break down and affect both the mouthfeel, as in the texture of the chicken stock, as well as the visual appeal of it, okay? And so that is why I'm discarding my carrot skins. But if you wanna use your carrot skins for your chicken stock, I recommend adding it in the last 20 minutes of cooking, okay? And I'm also looking at my amount of celery and I'm thinking maybe we could do a little bit more celery. So let's take it and let's peel it up, everybody. Let's take it and peel it. Let's take it and peel it. Let's get it all done. Nice. And that little beep, that little sound is telling us that the pressure cooker is going. As always, everybody, we only make homemade chicken stocks on this cooking show. We only do homemade ones because it is so much more delicious. Doing it in a pressure cooker saves you like so much time. Okay, so I have my carrot here, and what am I looking for? I'm looking for a small to medium dice. This soup is not about the carrot. It is not about the vegetables. At the end of the day, the carrot is mostly a flavoring component for the rest of the soup. Now, you could put anything you want inside of a matzo ball soup, okay? You really, really, truly can do anything that you want with it. But I'm keeping it classic, I'm keeping it traditional today, which is a little bit of celery and some carrot. I'm looking at this quantity of celery, and I feel like I do want some more because we've lost so much. So I'll be washing up another piece for the egg salad, I think is what's gonna happen. Okay, I could have probably planned my time a little bit better, but instead we'll just slow down for today. Okie dokie, so I have my celery, I have my carrot. Everybody, let's go ahead and obtain a very nice small dice. Okay, so we have two sections to the carrot. We have a very thin section and we also have a very thick section. What we don't want to do is to cut it all like this because you're going to end up with thin pieces and you'll end up with thick pieces. Why is that a problem? The thin pieces overcook faster and the big pieces take longer to cook. So we have to treat these different halves of the carrot differently in order to make it cook as evenly as possible. Okay, now you don't have to put in that much effort if you want, right? But at the end of the day, I really do think it is super worth it for pursuing the final texture of the soup that you're looking for. Okay, so we have this carrot, and so we're gonna do something called squaring it off. Squaring it off is essentially, we trim off a little piece off the bottom like this, so that the carrot doesn't roll around as much. We give it a nice, flat, steady surface to just stand on. Everybody, the key to this, we do not chop, we slice. We need to first obtain some planks. So let me explain to you the difference. If we were to chop, the knife is gonna go outwards. Everybody, how many times have you tried to chop a carrot and you keep getting like weird triangle-shaped pieces? Your knife keeps slipping out and you get slivers instead of beautiful flat planks. To get flat planks, you need to use the full length of your knife, minimal vertical force, and slice it, everybody. Look at that slice. Look at that thickness. You can see that that width is perfectly consistent throughout. And that is why we slice and we do not chop. We use the full length of the knife, okay? All the way, and we will obtain beautiful planks of carrot. And I'm obtaining today a small dice. That is what I am going for, okay? And this last guy, we can go ahead, hopefully without cutting ourselves too bad. That's it, we got him planked up as well. Okay, and guys, same exact idea with this one, which is we're gonna just start off by squaring him off, by slicing off a little bit off the bottom, give us a nice flat, steady surface, and give us some beautiful planks of carrot. Okay, plank it up, plank it up, plank it up, and plank it up. Okay, so now that we have planks, we have to go ahead and obtain some batons. Okay, because then we go from batons into beautiful, perfect cubes. Okay, so baton, baton, and baton, and we have some lovely sticks of carrot. Baton, baton, baton. Awesome. Oh, I gotta be careful not to sniffle like that because it makes me want to sneeze again. Ooh, it feels so weird being on the other Twitch channel now. I miss Daramgar. I miss it. Baton, baton, baton. Get a bunch of perfect little straight sticks. Even if you're not straight, your carrots will be, okay? We're forcing them into conformity, okay? So not quite a julienne, Audio Murphy. A julienne is specifically a very fine shred. It's a very specific texture, okay? So, look at that, and we're almost done. You're driving a big truck right now? Exciting, Tuna, be safe. Please don't text me don't type in Twitch chat while you're driving a really big truck, okay? And there you go. Couple of nice little batons, beautiful little sticks, my friends. Is there any plans to change the channel names in the future? You're gonna stick to the TV? I think I'm gonna stick to the TV in the future. Oh my God, could I have just switched the channel name to Daramgar and then not have had to rework all of my assets? I think I could have saved myself a lot of time and effort, actually. But I don't know how Twitch works with name changes. Oh no, uh-oh. Guys, that might have been a little silly in retrospect. I think I have to wait 6 months? Okay, yeah, so that was not an option. Okay, never mind. We made the right call today then. Okay, so I'm putting a lot of effort, I'm putting a lot of attention, and we've obtained all of our carrot batons, okay? And now, also Audio Murphy, hold on, let's hold on a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and obtain perfect little sticks, or little cubes. Okay, so from the batons, stack them up all nice and flat. And let's get some nice small cubes. Look at these cubes. And what am I evoking here? Everybody, do you know, like in a Campbell's chicken soup, especially like in a Campbell's chicken and stars, the little teeny tiny, cubes of carrot that you get? Like they're super small. They seem almost unrealistically small. Okay, that has shaped my preference of the kind of carrots that I like, especially when I am sick. Whenever I was sick growing up, it was always like a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Not guilty, it was just a pleasure of mine to have a canned Campbell's chicken soup. Okay, so the canned Campbell's chicken soup, it just had like these really, really tiny cubes of carrot. So just going through it. That's why I like having such small pieces of carrot. That's why I don't love massive chunks of carrots inside of a chicken soup or anything. I love like those unrealistically small little pieces. Okay? And let's go ahead and just finish cutting this up. Yeah, in North American soup, they might be like really, really big pieces. But, you know, especially like a lot of like Latin American soups, especially when they have like yuca and potatoes and carrot, those also have like massive chunks of carrot. But I'm thinking about that Campbell's chicken soup, my friends, and I think of those really, really tiny cubes. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish cubing all of this up. We're almost done, all the way through, and we have obtained some perfectly cubed carrots. Everybody, look at the knife cuts. Look at this, right? It is perfectly done. Well, almost perfectly, mostly consistent, okay? Nice small dice, just, oh my gosh, that's right, we have a carrot cube in chat. Carrot cube, this is literally for you. We just made you right now, live on Twitch, okay? I created you. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and take all of this good stuff, my friends, and transfer it over to a little bowl. Get it over to a little bowl and get it going. Awesome. And now we'll be going ahead and doing the same with all of my celery. So we got to go ahead and cut this into planks, then into batons, and then to perfect cubes. So what I like doing instead with a celery, I like to first rotate it and just immediately go right into the baton stage, like so. And we get a bunch of lovely celery sticks this way. This isn't the world's freshest celery, everybody. I know it looks a little bit limp, it looks a little bit soggy, and that's just because it is. But that doesn't mean that you have to throw it away. We'll use the old produce. It's gonna be used towards a soup, so why not, you know? Let's just make the most out of what we already have. So we've obtained all of these lovely batons of celery. And the chicken broth has about 42 minutes more left on it. I might just pull it out at the 40-minute mark and not at 50, if we do ever feel like I have not enough things to do in this amount of time. But generally speaking, rather, the longer that you do a chicken stock, the better it turns out. So, lovely small dice, back up your hand in equal distance and slice it, and slice it, and slice it, and slice it. Slice it until you have reached the peak texture of all of your dreams. Look at this. Oh. Honestly, I am probably thinking doing another celery stick at the moment because I did want like a rough 1-to-1 ratio, but yeah, maybe it'll just be enough as it is. Okay, everybody, all that we've done so far, we've made the chicken stock, we worked on making the matzo mix, okay? And these are gonna be all of my little cubes of celery and carrot that are going to go directly into the soup itself. Now, typically in a lot of especially Eastern European chicken soups, the onion would only be in the broth, right? The allium component is exclusive to the broth itself, and you would never really be biting into a chunk of onion explicitly. But right now, all of this carrot, all of this celery, ready to go. Okay, and all of that onion flavor, right, all of that allium is in the chicken stock itself, right? We use the scallion bottoms just so that we could make the most out of it and not throw it away. Okay, I'm gonna have a little sip of water. Just so that I'm staying nice and hydrated, and I can go ahead and just set these vegetables behind me. I could also probably just put my eggs into the fridge in the meantime, and we can just process up some of my herbs for today. Actually, maybe not quite yet. We'll get back to that in a second. So everybody, what else do we need to do today? Well, the carrots are done, the celery is done. We're waiting on the chicken stock to be made. Here is the order of operations. Once the chicken stock is actually properly finally done, we're going to go directly into a pot. We're going to strain all of that stuff out of it, and then we'll be boiling my carrots, my celery, and the matzo balls together. Okay, so we'll be using a cookie scoop to get nice even matzo balls, and that has to go for a total of 40 minutes. During those 40 minutes, I initially planned on doing some of the egg salad. I guess What we can do for the egg salad is just to heat up some water in the meantime, because we're gonna need a pot of water going, and we'll talk a little bit about boiling eggs and hard-boiled eggs theory. So, if everybody's watching, I wanna hear a nice yasha, please and thank you. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to hard-boiled eggs. Okay, there's a little bit of theory here, there's a couple of misconceptions, there's a couple of ideas that I do wanna talk about. Okay, so I have a pot of water, I have it almost like halfway filled with some water, and we're going to be setting it onto a boil. So, everybody, let's talk about some hard-boiled egg theory for a second, okay? Because I feel like not a lot of people understand how and why we do certain things when we make hard-boiled eggs. It seems really, really simple. It seems like this really, really ubiquitous food. I don't know if I'm using ubiquitous correctly, but I feel like I am. Okay, people think it's a really, really simple thing, and then it actually comes time for them to make it. And then they run into problems with the eggs themselves sticking to the shells. They run into issues with inconsistently cooked eggs. Okay, they run into problems with like the, egg itself cracking when you do put it into the water, and all the whites start leaching out. And so, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you instead. I'm gonna teach you how to make perfect, consistent, hard-boiled eggs exactly to your liking. Okay, and we'll talk about a couple of the methods and a couple of the theories and a couple of the schools of thought. Okay, so the first thing is, do we start off in boiling water or do we start off in cold water? There is advantages and disadvantages to each. By starting off in cold water, everybody, you know how I say starting off on a low heat, it cooks everything through nice and evenly without the outside. Remember when I said that by starting off on a really, really high heat, you overcook the outside before the inside is done. That is the advantage of a low temperature method. So a lot of people, they've historically started their hard-boiled eggs off in cold water. And so while that's a very nice way to yield a very consistently cooked egg without getting a rubbery egg white, the problem that you get is that the eggs themselves, they do tend to stick to the shell a little bit more. It is the equivalent of us starting off a protein in a really, really high heat versus a really, really low heat. On a high heat, things tend to stick a little bit less, and so the egg starting off in boiling water, it actually does prevent it from sticking to the shell as much. So second thing, it still doesn't solve the problem of a rubbery egg white and overcooked egg white before the yolk itself is done. So what do we actually do to accomplish that? Well, once we do put into the boiling water, we boil it really, really aggressively for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we drop the heat. We drop the heat, we keep it at a gentle simmer, and then we cook it for about 10 to 11 minutes or so. So by first having it start off in a boiling water, the egg itself, we mitigate its ability to stick to the shell, and then by lowering the heat, we keep it cooking evenly. Does everybody understand? Okay. Okay, Zlo the Meek, thank you for stopping by. It's lovely to have you as always. So we gotta get this up to a nice, big, aggressive boil. Okay, next, let's talk about the eggs themselves. I have here 6 lovely large eggs. Okay, and so what is another thing that you can do to avoid eggs sticking to the shells? Also, Moonha, thank you for stopping by. It's lovely to have you. Another thing that you can do to avoid the eggs sticking as much to the shells is by using older eggs. And that is because as time goes on, the eggs, they sort of become a little bit more watery. Eggs are a protein. Eggs aren't a liquid, okay? Eggs, you have a bunch of little protein fibers that as time goes on, as they get older, it slowly pushes away more liquid. So, by having your eggs be older, aka a little bit more watery, they actually end up sticking less than if they were fresh eggs. If you were to take an egg right out of a chicken, right, you just get in there, you pull it out, and you boil it, I promise you it will just immediately stick. If you have a slightly older carton of eggs sitting in your fridge, okay, then it will significantly decrease the chances for it to actually end up sticking to the shell. So, we start off in boiling water and then drop it to cold. Next, we start off with some slightly older eggs. If you have fresh eggs from your own chickens, this is the time that you want to wait. Okay? Then the third thing, which is shocking it. It is really, really, really important, everybody, that we shock it in some ice cold water after it comes out. And the reason why shocking it in ice cold water is essential is because it stops it from cooking. It being contained within a shell, it being the super, super dense mass, it essentially holds onto a lot of heat. It continues to go really, really rubbery. Okay, so by shocking it in an ice bath and letting it chill for a significant, and I do mean significant amount of time, for about 15 minutes or so, that it really, really stops it from sticking. Okay, and it really thoroughly cools it off. So, that was a lot of things I just talked to you guys about. So come take a look, my water is about to boil, and now, here's another problem. People add their eggs in, and it immediately breaks once they get to the bottom of the pot. So here's what you use. We use a spider, my friends. The beauty of this kind of a tool, the beauty of a spider, is that this lets us gently lower in the eggs without dropping them. Because if you were to drop them and let them gently sink down, the eggs will crack and break on the bottom of the pot. Okay? And that is not what we're looking for. Because if they break, they'll leach out the egg whites, water is going to get inside, and everything is going to become a mess. That is not what we want, that is not what we want to achieve. So using a spider or using a tool like this, for instance, I will consider imperative. You cannot go without it. Is it counting okay? Should I stop counting the drops? Jack, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not particularly feeling either way about it, right? So you can do what you would like to do. Okay, so another thing. We really want to make sure that the eggs are nicely covered. Okay, if there is not enough water inside, you're going to end up with hot spots and cool spots, and those cool spots where the eggs are, sort of closer to the surface, it won't cook in time, and you're going to result in a bunch of unevenly cooked eggs. So, I know I've just said a lot. There's a lot of factors that go into boiling eggs. And it might not seem that way. You might just think, hey, this is just a plain old hard-boiled egg. But there is so much that goes into it. There's so much theory, there's so much physics that you have to really, really keep in mind if you want to achieve something beautiful. This is going to be used towards an egg salad today. Okay? And in order to really, really obtain it for an egg salad, we don't want the whites to be rubbery, right? We want it to all be just nice and tender and all of it nicely fully cooked through. Okay? So all I'm waiting for is my water to come up to a nice big aggressive boil. It's still going to take a second. If anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to ask me. And in the meantime, I'll also be setting up my ice bath. And again, the ice bath, do not sleep on it. It is an essential component. So get some nice cold water filled up in this bowl. And then we'll get back to it in a second. My chicken stock is slowly going. It looks beautiful. About 30 more minutes on it, and then it'll be good to go for today. Okay, nice generous amount of nice cold water, everybody. And we'll go ahead and get some ice inside. And this is the same technique that we use all the time here for things like herbs. We use this all the time whenever, we want to like shock like some spinach or something, right? Shocking it in cold water, again, it is a really, really important step. It is not enough to just rinse it under cold water, my friends. It has to be ice cold to really stop it from overcooking, okay? So I do believe, based on the sound, that my water should be boiling, and it is, everybody. So let's go to the pot. Let's go to my pot of boiling water, and we're gonna lower these probably just one at a time. Everybody, be gentle. Be gentle, go inside, go all the way to the bottom before we put it down. Okay? Go gently, go all the way down, all the way down. Don't drop that egg. Do not drop it, everybody. Don't drop it, just gently, gently lower it in, nudge it inside. You wouldn't drop a baby. This is essentially a chicken's baby. We don't want to drop it. We don't want it to crack. We don't want it to make a mess. We want beautifully intact, boiled eggs, my friends. Okay? So, super, super high heat. Bring this back up to a boil for about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll gently simmer it and cook it for about 10 minutes. Okay? I'm just going to set my kitchen timer on for 11 minutes. Get it up back up to a boil, guys. Get it back on up to a boil. Also, Axel Vermillion, welcome on in. And let's just go ahead and count together for about 45 seconds or so. Again, that very aggressive initial boiling is going to ensure that the eggs come out perfectly done and not sticking to the shell. We only boil it aggressively for about a minute or a little bit less than, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a bunch of rubbery, overcooked whites. So, perfect hard-boiled eggs. It's a game. It's a game of balance. Okay? So we brought it back on up to a boil, very nice and aggressive. And we'll just give it 20 more seconds just like this. 20, 19, 18. I'm not going to count down with you guys. That's a little too much. Okay? And I think that's enough boiling. That's enough boiling. And so now we drop that heat, everybody. We drop that heat. We get it to a very gentle simmer. And now we cook it for just about 10 minutes or so. Okay? It's already going. It's already perfect. Awesome. 10 minutes. Let it go. Let it do its thing. The lid is going to help keep some of the heat inside and just make sure that it's just gently simmering. Okay? So let's go ahead and get my ice bath ready for today. And then after which I'll clean up a little bit. Has Chef ever made deviled eggs? Dolingo, I have not. And that's because I actually consider deviled eggs kind of impractical, and I don't really consider them a home dish. Deviled eggs, you're taking out the egg yolk and you're making a sauce out of it and you're gently putting it back inside of the egg white. It's honestly kind of elaborate. It's a little elaborate and it's more of like a party thing. So I've made deviled eggs for celebrations and parties before, and I make very delicious deviled eggs. But honestly, guys, a chopped up deviled egg is essentially just an egg salad. It has all of the same components that you're looking for, okay? So, me personally, no, I would not actually make deviled eggs inside of a home setting unless it was a party or a celebration, okay? So 2 big old ice blocks, just so that my water is super, super cold. I want it to be ice cold when the eggs do come out. These are some ice blocks, my friends. Okay, and while I have a second, while my eggs are just gently boiling away, I'm gonna go ahead and just put a few things away that I no longer need. We no longer need any matzo meal. I have a couple of dirty dishes that I want to dispose of. And so I'll just be getting that done now, because at the end of the day, everybody, this is a home cooking show. And what it really means to cook at home is to manage your passive time and your active time. And at the moment, we are currently in passive time. We're waiting for things to finish boiling. We're waiting for things to be done. Okay? Because once they're done boiling, you know, we have a lot of other busy work to do. So when you have stuff that you can just sort of leave alone, when you have stuff that you can leave by itself, that you can leave it a little bit unattended, this is your time to clean. Because you do not want to end up with a big pile of dirty dishes. That is what it means to cook at home. You probably don't have somebody handling your dishes. You probably don't have somebody whose entire job it is to do that. So keeping your station neat, keeping everything nice and organized as we go is absolutely imperative. It is imperative, and it is just not an option not to. Okay, my ice bath, it's all ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and just put that away behind me for a little bit. And I'll also be rinsing off the spider. And the reason why is because it did touch the eggshell of the raw eggs. I'm still gonna be using this later on for the chicken. It'll make me a little bit more comfortable to just wash this off while I have a second of time. Wearing a crop top while doing dishes, terrible idea, because I have just splashed my tummy with a bunch of soap and a bunch of water. Okay, just getting all of that soap off, just getting my spider nice and ready to go for when we need it. And then we'll be serving the egg salad also with some lovely rye bread. Okay. This is, actually I do want to talk about this for a second really quickly. This is the bread that I'll be serving this with today. Okay, this is a very, very common Eastern European black rye bread. I love this stuff. I love it to death. It is sweet. It's really crispy on the outside. It's very dense, okay? And having a really delicious egg salad with this kind of a bread, honestly, absolute game changer. Okay, game changer. What's going on today? What am I saying? Okay, additionally for the, for the chicken soup, I do want to get a few more garlic cloves just crushed and directly into the broth itself, okay? I just want something garlicky, I want something pungent. So let's go ahead and get a couple more out. Now, while we have a second, let's go ahead and give them a little flatten. Just like so, a little flatten and a little flatten. And we'll go ahead and just pop all of this out and get it ready to go for today. But yeah, because we have so little to do today, we'll keep it chill. I'll take any and all questions that you guys may have for me. You know, we'll just slow down all of our different processes. Such is how it goes sometimes. Home cooking doesn't have to be a million components. It doesn't have to be a lot of different ingredients that all need to be prepped in different ways. In the case of today, we're just boiling everything. It's still going to be flavorful, it's still going to be delicious, but this kind of food is intentionally simple. It's supposed to be simple. Let's not overcomplicate it. Could we theoretically saute the vegetables? Absolutely. Could we theoretically have browned the chicken bones before we decided to go ahead and make it into a broth? Absolutely we could have. But I feel like in a way that would have just added unneeded complexity to this kind of a dish. It's supposed to be simple, it's supposed to be hearty, you're supposed to have good flavor out of your chicken stock, but you're not supposed to overcomplicate this. However, if you choose in your own home, you can add in as many other techniques that you would like. Is there a Dara everyday dish if you could make always? Yes, Jack, and that is rice bowls. I make rice bowls whenever I don't have leftovers to eat. I make a rice bowl as my go-to lunch. I fry up a couple of eggs, I eat it with some lauganma, some sesame oil, a little bit of soy sauce, and some scallions. So I always have rice bowls ready to go as a daily lunch. So yeah, that is a dish that I did at some point make almost every single day for myself. Does Dara believe in breakfast? Is big breakfast a scam? Dolingo, you have actually asked me a pretty fascinating question that I can give a very big, deep answer for. Okay, so do I believe in breakfast? I would say yes if I worked a job in the mornings. So nice big breakfast in the morning are quite good for people that are directly going into work, especially in American work culture. Now, I will say this, a lot of other countries have developed a lot of other different eating styles, especially around different times of the day. Okay? I don't eat breakfast. I eat my first meal after 2 p.m. because I'm not very hungry first thing in the morning. The reason why I feel like in the United States specifically, why breakfast is so important is just because of the fact that people kind of have really unhealthy working schedules. Your lunch is like consolidated to 30 minutes to an hour at maximum, and then you're back to work and you're working 8 hours throughout the entire day. In a lot of European countries, and especially I'm thinking of some, somewhere like Spain, right? Your breakfast is purely like a pastry and coffee. Pastry and coffee, and then you have your dinner later that day. So, do I believe in breakfast? It just depends. It depends what you like. It depends when you get hungry. I don't believe in sweet breakfast though, so I don't love waffles. I don't love pancakes. I don't love French toast. It feels like so much sugar just to be having really early into the morning, and it feels kind of unnecessary, at least for me. So the kind of breakfast that I like, the few times that I do actually engage in a little bit of breakfast consumption, I like eggs, I like omelets, I like just purely yesterday's leftovers. I love a lot of Indian breakfasts as well, right, which aren't sweet. In most parts of the world, breakfasts are just last night's dinner leftovers somehow repurposed, right? Especially I'm thinking of something like Filipino food. So, this entire culture of like really sweet cereals, of pancakes and waffles, that's never actually been my thing. Also, WW, welcome on in. So, I just have a little bit of extra crushed garlic to mix into the soup as well as it goes because I want some additional flavor. Okay, and so I'll just be putting it aside onto my plate. And I do think I need a little bit more ice in my ice bath. So, carrots and celery for the soup. Some lemons we're going to be getting the juice out of for the salad later on. We have some garlic cloves as well. Okay? And then, in my ice bath, will go all of my lovely eggs once they do come out. The only thing is, I do need to go ahead and just get another ice cube in here. Because this water was like almost room temperature when it came out of my faucet. It's not cold enough to really shock the eggs as much as I'm really looking for. And let's just check on the eggs. Ooh, that might have been boiling way too aggressively. That's okay though. 2 more minutes on it and then we'll pull them out. Actually, I could probably do 1 more minute given how aggressively it was boiling. So, might have overcooked the egg whites a little bit, but that's okay. It happens to the best of us. Now let's get 1 more big old ice block just directly inside. There she is. If I think of breakfast, it's either heavy work breakfast or Balkan breakfast. I see, Jack. Okay, everybody, I heard that beep. So it's been roughly going for about just over like 10 to 11 minutes. I think this is going to be a good time to pull out the eggs. I do want the yolk still like slightly soft, just so they're not like super dry when they go into the salad. So, everybody, let's go ahead and take out all of my eggs from the water and into the ice bath to shock it and to stop it from cooking. Okay? Take it and shock it. Take it and shock it, everybody. Shock it so that it thoroughly cools down. And we can just go ahead and shut off the heat, get rid of that pot, and we got to make sure that we're agitating it so that it evenly chills out, okay? So all that we did, I had 6 eggs that I wanted to use for my egg salad today. They're really hot. They go into the ice bath to really stop them from cooking, and these are going to need about 14 minutes or so, okay? Give them as much time as you desire, but 15 minutes, a pretty good sweet spot for them to be cooled down enough, for at least my purposes today. Will it taste? I'm not sure what you're asking me, Daramgar. Okay. All of that is just cooling off. All of that is just ready to go. And everybody, about 5 to 10 minutes in, what we're going to... Oh, that was just a shocking joke. I see. About 5 to 10 minutes in, we're going to be going in there and cracking the eggs a little bit. And the reason why we do that is to help get some of the water in between the eggs and the egg shell. It'll help to further separate it. It's a very nice idea to try to peel your eggs under running water if you can. The running water gets under the eggshell and really does a nice job of separating it, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and chill that out for the next however long. And let's also think about the cooking vessel that we want for my matzo balls. I want a nice wide vessel that's going to be able to properly accommodate all of them, but I only have 3 quarts of water. I feel like my Dutch oven might be a little bit too big, but I guess we'll just see how that goes. So let's go to the stove. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this guy. This I have no more use for at all. Just wait for that water to cool off until we can dump it. Okay, and I'll go ahead and get my nice big Dutch oven out. So hopefully my Dutch oven is not going to be too shallow for the matzo balls, but we'll see. We will see, my friends. This guy right here, and we'll get him all ready to go with the different components that we need for the soup. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in. So is there a childhood dish that I loved then but I hate or dislike now? No, if anything, I have the opposite effect, Jack. There's childhood dishes that I hated. Okay, there's some things that I refused to eat. When I was like 5 or 6, I refused to eat any fish whatsoever. Right? I refused to eat anything fishy, any shrimp, any fish at all, any salmon. And now I love fish to death, right? So I don't think there's anything that I used to love as a kid that I dislike now, but there's definitely things that I've come around on. And I'll go ahead and get my nicely pressed garlic into the pot as well. Everybody, I am so sorry for being so short on things to do today. I thought I planned this out a little bit better. I thought that I would have more to do, but it's totally okay. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just wash up one more little piece of celery for, hopefully, my egg salad. And the chicken stock has about 7 minutes left on it, everybody. So in 7 minutes time, we'll be taking it out, we'll be straining it out, and we'll begin making the matzo balls for today, which is really exciting. Okay, I'll wash up my celery in the meantime. 7 more minutes, everybody. We gotta be patient. We just gotta hold through. It'll all be okay. We'll get to the finish line, I promise. Okay, and I just got another piece of celery prep for today. When the going gets tough, the tough gets cooking. Thanks, Audio. I appreciate the encouragement. Okay, everybody, in the meantime, actually, let's go ahead and just check out my matzo ball mixture. Okay, this is what we'll be forming into matzo balls today. Right, and we'll just be scooping them and directly going into the boiling stock once, of course, that does come out. For today, though, I will be using one of my favorite kitchen tools that I love talking about over and over again, everybody. This is a cookie scoop. The reason why a cookie scoop is so nice, especially for something like this, is because you're able to get really even portions. You're able to get very even ones and really consistent, okay? You really want to be careful not to make these matzo balls too big because these things will soak up, these things will swell, and these things will become massive. Okay, so if your matzo balls are too big, it's not going to come out the way that you want. The other thing that we want though is the fact that this dough is so sticky. It has the ghee inside of it, right, that is now congealed fully. It's just basically a bunch of starch. It makes it very, very sticky. So in order to stop it from sticking to the cookie scoop, we're going to go ahead and get a bowl of nice warm water all ready to go. And so every time that we go in and we get a nice little scoop of a matzo ball, we'll be refreshing my cookie scoop, putting it back into the warm water, right? Coming in, balling it up, and out it comes really, really easily that way. Okay? So, very nice. Oh, happy Pride Month? Oh yeah, tomorrow's the beginning of Pride Month. That's right. Maybe we'll do something fun and gay on Sunday. I don't know yet. We'll see. I don't have a lot of leftovers to cook, especially because I'm at home alone at the moment. For a little bit. So yeah. Everybody, once the chicken stock is done, we'll be straining it out into the pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and get my station all ready for that. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and set up my strainer right over here, straining it directly into the vegetables, spooning out each of my matzo balls, and then it'll be great, it'll be delicious. The only thing though that'll be really important, we do need to make sure that the chicken stock, when it comes out, that it's actually very nicely seasoned. These matzo balls, they soak up liquid. They really, really soak it up, they really swell up, okay? And if we don't specifically season this liquid ahead of time, we're gonna get matzo balls that have the flavor of the chicken stock, but not enough salt inside. So seasoning it in layers is absolutely imperative. 40 minutes for the chicken stock until it comes on out. We'll get that going. This pot of water seems to now finally be done with. I don't even have to wash or anything. All that it really did was just boil some eggs for us. In about 9 minutes time, my eggs will be done shocking. But before my eggs are done shocking, guys, I'm gonna let you in on another really nice egg tip. Okay? Another really nice thing that you can do to help it peel easily. Okay? So, here's my eggs. Okay? So normally, right, if you were just to peel them as it is, the reality is it's going to stick a little bit to the shell. The best way to peel your eggs after they are done cooking is by letting water go in and separate the membrane from the shell. Separate the membrane from the shell, okay? And so what's very, very nice that we can do is while they're still chilling out for a couple of minutes, we're going to go in there, manually crack them, and let the water seep in. It's going to bubble up a little bit. The air in between the shell and the egg itself is going to dissipate, and in goes a little bit of water. So that's actually a lot of water inside. I don't think I really need all that much to continue chilling it out. Okay? And we're just gonna crack up the egg, guys. We're gonna crack them up a little bit and put them back inside. That way the water, again, it's just gonna do a very nice job of separating it. So just take it and crack it and crack it and crack it. Crack it up gently, all the way around like this, and don't be too firm with the crack. If you are too firm with the crack, you're going to end up damaging the flesh, and the flesh itself is going to end up getting super, super wet as the water ends up seeping inside. So crack it up, crack it up, crack it up, crack it up. Crack it up, each and every single one. Awesome. I do wish I had one more component ready to go for today, but that's okay. We can also just roll it slightly. But this is my ideal method. Crack it up, crack it up, crack it up. Each and every single egg needs to get this kind of treatment. Okay, and a couple more to go. Cam froze. What is going on with this camera, guys? Really? Why did it freeze again? This happened last time, and truthfully, I have no idea why. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, hey, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. This isn't the first time that it's done that either. It did this last stream. Whoa. That's a little concerning. I'm admittedly a little worried about that going forward, but that's okay. And I think I have this one last egg to crack. Everybody, I'm sorry about that. Are we still here? Is everybody still watching? I want to hear a nice yes, chef, please. And thank you. Okay, I think all of my eggs have officially been cracked, and so we'll just let them soak in that cold water. We'll let them continue to soak, we'll let them continue to chill out, and as it just sits there, you can see little teeny tiny air bubbles come on out. That is the water going inside, and I promise you, everybody, it will help. It will really, really significantly help in making sure that my eggs peel up nice and clean. I think it is now time for us to release the pressure on the chicken stock. It is time for us to reveal the chicken stock and begin making some lovely matzo ball soup, guys. So I'll go ahead and do away with this. Put that just behind me. The matzo ball station has to be ready. Almost good, everybody. I'm just making a little bit of space for ourselves. Okay. So, everybody, my matzo ball station, all ready to go for today. Let's go ahead and come back on over to the stove. Okay? So, we have my matzo mix. That was just some basic matzo meal, egg, ghee, water, salt, and pepper. Okay, I have inside of a nice bowl of warm water, a cookie scoop, and the warm water is gonna help stop it from actually sticking. Okay, and then I think I'll also be doing this with a couple of gloves just to really make sure that I roll it up into a perfectly sized ball. Inside of this pot at the moment is my garlic, my carrots, my celery, and now everybody, my chicken stock. It is almost done. It is currently releasing the pressure. It is boiling, boiling hot, and we gotta go ahead and get all of those chicken pieces out, all of the scraps into the trash, okay, and then everything in. So just getting everything ready for that. And everybody, with the parsley scraps, with the dill scraps, the chicken broth smells kind of excellent at the moment, I have to say. It's aromatic, it's delicious, it smells meaty at the moment as well. Okay, so we've put in a lot of love, we've put in a lot of care, we've put in a lot of attention to detail, and it is now time for us to do the grand reveal of said chicken stock in about just a moment's time. And once again, that is the beauty of using a pressure cooker. You save so much time in actually making a chicken stock, okay? Normally making a chicken stock in a pot, a couple of hours, you have to skim the scum. A pressure cooker just takes care of so much of it already for you. Okay, so my pressure cooker is just about done releasing pressure. It is taking a while today because it is a fairly high volume of liquid, relatively speaking. Okay, everybody, it is time for us to reveal the chicken stock for today. I'm gonna actually just go ahead and move this station once more. I'm gonna move this pot over for just a second, and I'm gonna show you this beautiful thing that you and I are left with as soon as it comes out. Okay, is it done yet? It should be. Come on, buddy, I know you can do it. Please and thank you. Okay, now it's ready to go. All the pressure has been released, everybody. We have a big, lovely pot of some homemade chicken stock. And we're gonna go ahead and reveal that to you all now. Ah, there she is. All of the chicken wings, all the chicken bones has yielded us an aromatic, herbaceous, lovely, lovely stock. So we're gonna begin by just getting rid of a few of the scraps. Specifically, all of the leaves, all of the celery, all of that has done its job for today. In fact, we could just probably put it directly over the strainer and just let it sort of sit there for just a second to extract anything that could be stuck in it. We're gonna grab the carrot as well. That's a scrap. We gotta get all of these pieces. Everything except the chicken wings and the chicken legs have got to go, my friends. So all of that's gotta go. Lovely. Okay? And now we have a golden stock, my friends. It is flavorful, it's aromatic, she looks beautiful at the moment. And now I'm gonna grab this little transfer plate where we will take individually my chicken legs. We gotta be delicate. This thing is so tender, my friends, it is falling off of the bone. We wanna be gentle with it so that it doesn't fall apart into the rest of the broth. Okay, let's take a chicken wing, nice and gentle. And this is why we use a spider, because it's such an easy way to be able to just pick things up. You can see that it is completely collapsing. It is completely falling over on itself. All right, beautiful. That's that chicken wing. And we have one last chicken leg to go ahead and take on out. And we could also just take the carcass and pick some meat off of it if we would like. There you go. Yeah, let's just take that chicken carcass while we're at it, and we'll see if there's any meat that we can take off of this thing. But I don't think so. Okay, my legs, my wings, and now everybody, it is time for us to strain the stock into my pot of vegetables. Just gotta move a few things around for a second. Let's get this all inside. And let's get everything from the pot poured in. We want every single last drop today, my friends. All of it in, all of it in. Let's just pour it from this side so you guys can see a little better. All of it in. There you go. That is a gorgeous pot of chicken stock. Now, in retrospect, that's actually not a lot of carrots. That's not a lot of carrots, that's not a lot of celery, but that's okay, because they're only here to flavor the final soup, everybody. They're only here to flavor it, they're not here to steal the show, okay? And so, I feel confident going ahead and just putting this pot aside until it cools off for a second. Everybody, we gotta go ahead and take this chicken stock. Look at that color, look at that gleam, look how golden it is. First thing that we gotta do is we gotta take this thing back on up to a big old boil. We wanna get it bubbling, we wanna get it going. Now, we need a bunch of salt in here. All of these vegetables are currently unseasoned, so they need some extra help and some extra love. This might look like a lot of liquid, but the matzo balls, they soak it all up, okay? They soak it up, they soak it up, they're so greedy, they want to take in so much of the chicken stock, and they will swell it up, okay? So some people, they boil the matzo balls separately from the chicken stock because it makes it cloudy. I don't really care about my chicken soup becoming slightly cloudy. I don't think it's that big of an issue. I don't think it's a concern at all. Okay, so if you want to get the ideal, perfect looking chicken soup, then you don't have to go ahead and do this. In my case, you know, I don't really care. It's supposed to be home cooking. I'm not going to take two separate pots, okay? So I'm going to go have a little sip, just see how my chicken stock came out. Guys, that is a good chicken stock. It is clean, it's golden, it's delicious, and now the moment that we've all been waiting for, or at least I've been waiting for. Let's go ahead and shape some matzo balls, everybody. I have my cookie scoop right here and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and take a nice big ball of matzo ball dough. Okay, I'm gonna just wet my hand slightly, roll it up into a perfect sphere, and just drop it inside. That's one. Just like we're making meatballs. Take it, scoop it up, scoop it out into your hands. Nice wet hands, everybody. Let's go make some matzo balls. Also, Death Owl, thank you so much for the sub. Hope you're having a gorgeous day today. Let's dunk this back into the water. Let's get another big scoop of a matzo ball, and let's roll it up. And we gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. We gotta get all of these little guys done, my friends. Every single last one. And we are going to end up with a beautiful matzo ball soup by the end of it. Does anybody have any questions? Shy Chica, it could be your internet. I can't really diagnose this for you right now. I'm sorry. Chef, will the pop-up question function return on this new channel? Yes, it will, Jack. I have some plans in place to be able to get that in. At least by the end of June or so is what I'm shooting for, to get the pop-up questions back. So that's a good question. We had to take it down because the service that was using it, specifically I used something called featured chat, it stopped functioning. Featured chat went down. There's an open source alternative that I've wanted to use. Featured chat went down because they had like a whole agreement with Twitch or something. Chef, can you mail this dish to me? Absolutely, Carrot Cube. I'd be more than happy to. Guys, look at my perfect matzo balls. They're delicious, they're seasoned, they're gonna be nice and dense and chewy because I don't mess around when it comes to matzo ball soup. I've never made this dish before, and I'm not gonna lie. This is really easy, and this is also really, really fun to do. Okay? This process is so much easier than also doing like a meatball. It's significantly less sticky than that of a meatball. Okay? Take it, roll it up, guys. Everybody should be making matzo ball soup at home, and I do truly mean everybody. If you've never had matzo balls before, this is your sign to go ahead and make some. The only special quote-unquote ingredient you need is matzo meal. And if you can find any big grocery store, even things like Stop and Shop, they always have like a kosher section, right? And in the kosher sections, you can typically find matzo meal. So, we're almost done, everybody. We have a few more balls to shape, a few more balls to make at the moment. Take it and dunk it into all of our lovely chicken stock. This is a big pot of soup. I have made an aggressive portion of matzo ball soup, which I'm personally okay with, except I just don't really know how I'm gonna eat it all by myself. Because for the time being, I am by myself at home, and I do have nobody really to help me out with this. Maybe I'll get some over to my grandma. I'm sure my grandma would appreciate this, actually. Okay? And let's ball that up. Let's get some nice wet hands to stop it from sticking, everybody. Does it freeze well? So that's a good question. The chicken, yeah, you know what? Let's just say why not. I'm going to say that this does freeze well because it's, at the end of the day, a really, really basic boiled dough, and you kind of can't really overcook it that much anyways. So yeah, absolutely it freezes well. Ooh, there you go. Now it started sticking to the cookie scoop. There you go. Everybody, look at it. That is all of our lovely matzo balls inside. They're gonna be doughy, they're gonna be chewy. I'm just quickly washing off my hands, and then depending on the size of these might be about 35 to 40 minutes or so. And they're gonna float to the top, and when they float to the top, everybody, it is essential that you do cover it with a lid. Also, School of Rock, lovely to have you. Hope you're having a really good day today. I don't know if I said hi to you earlier. I think I saw you. Okay? It's a dumpling without any filling. Well, not quite Audio Murphy. It's a dumpling in the sense of like chicken and dumplings, okay? So, kitchen timer, setting this to about 40 minutes or so. And so, this needs to get cooked until everything starts floating to the top. When things do start floating to the top, we have to drop it down to a simmer and then cover it with a lid. If you do not cover this at all, these matzo balls that have risen to the top, what's going to end up happening with them is that they will end up sort of drying out on the surface. By putting a lid on them, that really, really helps them to just evenly steam through, okay? So I'm not breaking them up, I'm just gently moving a few of them around, just to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom, and they're beginning to float, and this is the beginning of a gorgeous matzo ball soup. I'm going to take a second and put a couple of dishes away because remember, everybody, that is why we cook at home. We cook at home, we got to clean as we go, and it is not a question at all. Just so that we do not end up with a massive, massive mess at the end of the day. Look at my chicken stock, guys. Look how beautiful it is. Look how golden it is. Everything here made entirely from scratch. Everything here made from scraps that I've had laying around. It's super economical. It's super cheap. This is literally ground up bread made into these really, really lovely, matzo balls. Also, Count JP, welcome on in. It's lovely to have you. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Okay. Gotta still put a couple more things away. Gotta get my cookie scoop out of here. And into my dishwasher. And yeah, you don't need a cookie scoop for something like this, but again, I think cookie scoops, especially for something like meatballs, it just makes everything so much more consistent, right? This is like one of those kitchen tools that I picked up at a restaurant when I did apprentice. There used to be this restaurant called Carnem that was in Brooklyn that I used to apprentice for. And I remember when they were like just scooping like old leftovers with something with a cookie scoop. And I was like, wait, this is an amazing tool and I should be using this all the time for everything. Okay, so I'm just nudging them to make sure that they're all nice and separated. And everybody, you can already see how much these guys are beginning to swell. They're beginning to become nice and swole. They're soaking up all of that homemade chicken stock. Everybody, I need to hear your chef to this. Do not use boxed chicken stock for any kind of soup, but especially a matzo ball soup. I need to hear your chef. Please and thank you. Okay? You cannot use a boxed, you cannot use a pre-made chicken stock. You need something with a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of quality, a lot of soul. And pre-made chicken stock sucks. It's watered down. It has that canned and tinned flavor. Also, thank you so much for the sub to Natalie. Hi, it's lovely to have you. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Okay, so guys, now that all of my matzo balls have risen to the top, it is imperative that we go ahead and we slap a lid on it. Because if we do not, the top of the matzo balls, they're going to end up drying out. It's going to end up cooking through in a way that we don't actually want it to. So let's lower the heat to a nice gentle simmer, and let's pop that lid on. There you go. And now we will get slowly cooked, beautifully cooked, beautifully cooked matzo balls. I almost said meatballs. They are quite similar to meatballs. So I'm taking a second of just washing out a couple of dishes before we proceed. We still have to shred the chicken. We still have to make the egg salad for today. We have a lot of work coming up ahead of us, everybody. But today overall, nothing technical. Everything here is easy. Everything here is also really, really cheap. It's a nice way of using up all of my existing leftovers. Okay. I'll get that bowl into the dishwasher. And now, everybody, it is time for the most fun task of all, which is to peel a couple of hard-boiled eggs. Okay, I don't need this Instant Pot and flame or anything, and we can see that my matzo balls are just beautifully simmering away. You can see how big these balls have become. You can see how much they've just really, really begun to swell up, and they have that delicious nutty flavor of the ghee. Okay, so let's go ahead and just begin peeling up some eggs. So if I did this correctly, I don't necessarily need to peel them under running water. We let them properly chill out. We let them chill out really nice and slowly. I'm going to tie up my hair, put on some gloves, and let's get cracking. So remember how I taught you how to do hard-boiled eggs, okay? You remember how I taught you. So first and foremost, we never start off in cold water. If we start off in cold water, it has a higher tendency to stick. We use slightly older eggs so that it doesn't stick as much either. We started off at a boil, we dropped the heat so that the egg doesn't overcook, and then we shocked it for a minimum of 15 minutes inside of this ice water. 10 minutes in, we crack the eggs so that the water slips in and separates it. And now, everybody, if I did everything correctly, I want to show you just how easily everything peels. If I did it correctly, it should easily peel. Is everybody ready for this? No more sticky hard-boiled eggs. No more hard-boiled eggs that just completely get destroyed when you try to peel the shells off. All right? There you go. Got this little guy right here. Okay? And let's just see whether or not that eggshell easily slips off. Everybody come take a look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That just pops out. Perfectly peeled hard-boiled eggs every single time using this method. Not every single time, sometimes you'll still get a couple. Look at that. That is a perfectly peeled egg. Okay, and this might seem, some of this might be like, oh, it's just a hard-boiled egg. Guys, how many times have you attempted a hard or soft-boiled eggs and you've just ended up with eggs that were, completely sticking to the shells, and when you try to peel them, they would, they would just fall apart. How many times has that happened to you? This seems like it's so basic, but there is so much theory. But once you learn all of these different steps, you will have, above all else, consistency. Look at these eggs. Look at these eggs. Perfectly done. So, once again, never in cold water. Always start off boiling and then lower the heat. Okay? Shock them in ice cold water for 15 minutes in total, and in the last 10 minutes, you crack it just to get some more water in between the shell and the egg itself. Oh, look at those eggs. That is perfect. I love hard-boiled eggs. I do wish I made one extra just for myself. Oh, I just heard something splash. I think that was just some steam hitting the fire. There you go. And I'm just rinsing it off every so often just to get rid of any little bits of shell that can be remaining on it. There you go. Chef cracking so many eggs. That's right, Serena. I've been doing this for a long time to people. Clever. Oh, look at that. It just comes out. It all just comes out a nice one big peel. I really want one to snack on, but I'm going to do my best holding back. I'm holding back with every muscle fiber in my body to not just take a big old bite out of one of these guys. And the reason why I also love egg salad, guys, an egg salad, if it's done well, it's just the kind of a thing that just sits in your fridge, right? You can go ahead and then just like have it whenever you want. It lasts a couple of days inside of the fridge. You can take it anywhere with you. You can put it on sandwiches. You can go ahead and just eat it with some toast. It's incredibly versatile, and it's a very nice way to get a lot of protein in you as well. I really, really do like egg salads, and you're gonna see what makes mine different. We don't do it with mayonnaise, okay? We're only gonna be doing it with sour cream, and we're gonna be doing it with some fresh herbs. Yeah, that's right. You could do that with the shells if you would like, but in my case, Carrot Cube, I don't actually raise any plants, so I'm afraid that that might not be for me. Oh gosh. Okay, I accidentally got a little chunk of egg white with that one, but that's okay, because it all still just peels up every single time. Perfectly peeled eggs, pop them open, pop them open. There you go. Everybody, this is, to anybody that cooks, the biggest flex of all. Perfectly peeled eggs every single time. Okay, so if you know, you actually just know in this case. This is a thing that cooks on every single level struggle with, from professional to amateur. Everybody at some point or another has struggled to make a nice hard-boiled egg where it doesn't actually stick to the shell. Everybody has at some point, okay? It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to stay this way, everybody, okay? And I'll just go ahead and get this ball into the dishwasher since I have no more use for it at the moment. Here's my eggs, everybody. They're all ready to go, but we will be holding off on doing anything with them. These are actually going to be the last step of the processing. I'm just going to pat them dry, put them on a separate plate, and set them aside. Just so they're not like super like soaking wet or anything. Also, if you haven't done so, make ramen eggs at some point in your life, as in like marinate your eggs in like a mixture of like mirin and soy sauce. What is so amazing about eggs is that they soak up marinades. They really, really do. So if you put this overnight in the fridge with like a mixture of mirin and soy sauce and sugar, they get so, so, so delicious. Okay? Really, really highly advise anybody to give that a shot if they've never done it before. Okay? Those are all of my lovely eggs, nice and cooked. And I'll just be setting them aside onto a little plate. I remember I made ramen eggs only like once before, but it is kind of remarkable how much of a marinade they take in. Now, let's go back in and let's go check on my matzo balls. My water should be simmering, not aggressively boiling. That is a bit too aggressive of a boil, but it's okay because it's a matzo ball. And everybody, you can see how much they're swelling up. You can see how much of that chicken stock they have really truly begun to absorb. Okay? We've got some big balls on our hands here. Okay? And we just got to keep it cooking. Now, other fresh pastas, other fresh doughs, they might get done in something like 10 minutes. These matzo balls, they need 40 minutes. They need a lot of time to hydrate. So gentle simmer. By boiling it aggressively, you'll just overcook the outside and we'll be left with a lovely matzo ball soup. Okay, let's come back to the chicken. Let's go to Mr. Chicken and let's see if he's cooled down enough that we can shred him up. Okay? I have all of these lovely little bits of chicken, my friends. Okay, I know it doesn't look that exciting. It is quite literally just boiled chicken at this stage, but we'll be making sure that we keep all of that meat. Okay, we'll keep all of that meat and we'll be putting it directly back on into the soup. So, let's just go ahead and break it down. I don't want any of the skins of my chicken legs is another really, really huge thing. So we have to take a really good care and caution to make sure that we don't get any. Boiled chicken skin, it just tends to kind of be gummy above all else, right? And so I'm just flaking off little tiny bits of meat and I'm just gonna pop out all of that skin and put it into my trash bowl. The skin did a good job of protecting the meat from getting overcooked. It did a good job of flavoring the stock itself, but now we have no more use for that gummy, overcooked chicken skin. And when a chicken is this cooked and it is this soft, you could theoretically just pop it all out, nice and easy. And I'm just going through this and just taking out the knuckle, any connective tissue, anything that you really don't want to bite into. It's very gentle, it's very delicate, but we'll get it done. There you go. And now, my friends, we have these lovely little bits of meat. So let's just shred it up. Does anybody have any questions in the meantime? This is a very gentle process. What's going on, Audio Movie? What is happening today? I'm a little lost, I can't lie. You gotta go? Okay, well, thank you for stopping by nonetheless. It was lovely to have you. Oof, hot date. I see. Exciting. Well, I hope it goes well. Okay, and we got a little pile of meat. And we just got to keep on going. We just got to go ahead and process this until we're left with nothing. This is my chicken wing. We have the drum and the flat. So this is now the flat that I took out. And, oh, excuse me, the drum rather. And we can just peel off all of that meat in nice one shot. There you go. Chef hasn't seen The Godfather? That's how I've never seen The Godfather. I've missed out on a lot of pop culture references as a result subsequently, I feel like. I haven't watched a lot of movies. The last movie that I saw when I was like, okay, I want to become more versed in movies that people have actually watched was Fight Club. That was like the last movie that I've watched. Okay, and so now that we're at the flats of each of the chicken wings, we can pop out each of the bones since it's so tender. We can peel off that skin. Normally in a chicken wing, of course, you're eating it with the skin, but because it was just boiled, we don't want any of it. It's gummy, it's just squishy, it doesn't have anything to provide. Anything that it could have provided is already inside of the stock itself. Okay? Chef, have I watched movies from Ghibli? Yeah, I've seen my fair share of Ghibli movies. My favorite is Porco Rosso. I love Porco Rosso so much. It's so sad, it's so beautiful, it's so pretty. But I think I've seen just about almost every single Ghibli movie. I've seen a lot. The Room is life-changing? I've never seen The Room. I don't know what The Room is. Wait, is that the Me movie? Is that the one that people were like quoting for a long time? Okay, and we have another flat here to go through. Just break it down. Yeah, Porco Rosso is severely underrated. That's right. Okay, and let's just pop that bone out of it as well. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's why you suggested me to watch The Room. I feel like I've seen a million different Room clips, so it would be like impossible for me to be like unspoiled on that experience. Is there like, if I've seen a bunch of the memes, is there anything that I'm actually missing? Is it just that memorable? I don't know if it's still worth it, considering like how much I've just like seen it to death. Okay, there you go. It's a work of art? Okay. Context makes it crazy. Okay, I have been officially convinced. Thank you. You guys have given me something to think about while I was just peeling all of this chicken from the bone, nice and gentle. Yeah, this is the kind of food that I grew up eating. Do not watch The Room. I see. Taza, have you seen The Room? This is the kind of food that I grew up eating, guys. Really, really basic, really simple. A lot of boiled chicken legs. Eastern Europeans, we love our boiled meats. Okay? So, excuse me. I'm a little sniffly. Now I'll just wash my hands off. And we got about 25 more minutes of pure matzo ball cooking lying ahead of us. Okay. Let's go ahead and peek at the matzo balls really quickly. Let's take a little peek. Let's take a little look. Oh, yeah. Everybody, we have some gorgeous matzo balls coming up soon. They're going to be delicious. They're going to be flavorful. Put the lid right back on it. And just keep it all cooking. Keep it cooking until it's all swollen up. Okay, now, the last of this stuff. We have a couple of scraps of meat, I believe, still attached to the chicken carcass. Specifically, I think we might have some breast meat, but ooh, actually getting any meat off of this is going to be a little bit tricky, considering it is so tender and it is so falling apart. Okay, this is the backbone roughly. I don't think there's actually anything salvageable. I did a good job of butchering the chicken last time around. There is some meat on the backbone here, though, that I see that we can probably pick out. That's actually quite nice. Okay, I have to be careful to like not eat all of it before it actually goes into the soup itself. Okay. couple more little bits of meat, and then the rest of this does just kind of appear to be bone. And we got a little bit more flesh. I don't think there's anything too much salvageable here, everybody. Yep, that's just the chicken tail. That's just the rest of the chicken backbone. How make chicken not dry as a dessert? Wait, what do you, Carrot Cube, what do you mean? What do you mean, like, as a dessert? Chicken as a dessert? I'm not entirely sure what you're asking me. What does Chef think about it? Wait, Jack, are you talking about, like, what are you... Oh, how to make chicken not dry as a dessert. I see. Guys, I've been cooking brains so long that I interpreted the very normal word of dessert, of desert as dessert. So please forgive me. Okay, how do you make chicken not dry? Simple. Don't overcook it and dry brine it. So let me explain to you why. Chicken breasts specifically, extremely, extremely lean protein. They have no fat, they have no connective tissue, and they have no bone, meaning they overcook very easily. The key to a perfectly cooked white meat, meaning the chicken breast or the chicken tenders, is to make sure that you're never taking it past around 150 degrees Celsius and you cook it gently. I mean poaching it, not boiling it. I mean gently simmering it. I mean really, really being super delicate and super careful with it. As for the chicken legs and the chicken thighs, those you kind of can't get overcooked, those don't get dry because of how fatty they are. Okay, and in this case, my chicken won't be dry at all because it's just going to go directly into my soup, right? So we have a bunch of beautiful shredded chicken. We don't have any big chunks or anything. And I'll just be able to go in with all of my shredded chicken. Everything just goes directly inside. And we'll just let that cook into the rest of the soup. Gorgeous. Okay, let's go ahead and get this back simmering, everybody. We want to get up to a nice simmer again, and we'll slap that lid right back on it. Ooh, that lid is hot. Ouch. Okay, and pop that lid right back on. Get it simmering. Okay, everybody, we have to go ahead and work on the egg salad. Whew. We have a lot still to do today, don't we? Today's a really, really busy day for us. Well, actually quite the opposite, but you know what I mean. Now that we have the matzo ball soup going, now we have, of course, plenty of different things to do. That's okay, Shy Chica. I hope you have a lovely day today. There's always going to be more dollar cooking shows. There's always going to be more streams, okay? There will never not be them unless maybe, I don't know, something catastrophic happens. Okay, everybody, it is now time for us to work on the egg salad for today. I'm going to go ahead and get myself a nice mixing bowl, something that would be adequately sized for this. And we can go ahead and begin doing all of the different prep that we need for today. So, here's what I like to do. I like to go ahead and make sure that all of my components besides the eggs are in the bowl first. And that's because that way we get to really make sure that the seasoning is really, really even. Oh gosh, wait a second. So, hold on. Are multiple people having problems with the stream, or is it just you two? Are other people like noticing like some frame drops or something? I would love to know if that was the case. So we're gonna go ahead and just in advance, everybody, we're gonna get our salt. This should be an adequately sized bowl for this amount of chicken salad. Stream is good? Okay, I don't know what's going on with the rest of you guys, I'm sorry. We're gonna need a bunch of salt. A bit glitchy. Well, that was the camera stuff from before, unless there's other glitches that I didn't know about. Oh, really? Is that the case? Oh. Oh no, that sucks. Taza, when does that typically go away? Okay, and everybody, I have some leftover sour cream, which I'm just gonna go ahead and pop into the bowl. So all of the sour cream, just gonna go ahead and dump it directly inside. I have roughly a quarter cup or so. And because of how much sour cream I have, I might not even use all of my eggs. I would only use just about like 5, I think, and just have one as a little snack. So let's get all of my sour cream. And this is what really distincts or makes my egg salad, I think, a little bit different from some other ones, which is I don't love mayonnaise-based egg salads. This is the way that I grew up eating them. This is the way that my grandma grew up making them, right? Which is just to use sour cream instead of a lot of mayonnaise, and you end up with a much more different, and I feel like a much more refined taste and texture. Okay, so sour cream going directly inside. And now everybody, we gotta go ahead and get some lovely lemon juice and lemon zest. I have this gorgeous lemon. Let's go ahead and get some of the zest, because the yellow part of the skin, that is where all of the aroma of the lemon is. Okay, that is where all of the aroma is, that is where all of the flavor is, and I want that aroma and flavor to absolutely permeate my salad. So let's go ahead and just gently, oop, my technique's a little bit off. There you go. Let's go ahead and get some of that gorgeous lemon zest all inside, but none of the pith, none of the white parts, okay? And it's just salt and pepper in here, Helix. Just salt and pepper. So a little bit of the lemon zest, and now we gotta go ahead and get we're gonna start with half a lemon's worth of juice, and if we need more, we will go ahead and adjust it. Let's go ahead and get that lemon cut in half. Oh my God, they've cheated me. Look how small the flesh is compared to the pith. So we just start off with half a lemon's worth of juice, and then we will adjust it and see what it needs afterwards. I'm gonna take my favorite tool, the lemon press, the citrus press, and we're gonna squeeze it all the way down until, hopefully, I think this lemon might be a little too big for the citrus press. It might be a little too big for the citrus press. Okay, and let's get all of that lemon juice inside. Again, everybody, lemons, depending on the kind of lemon that you have, are incredibly variable with their acidity. So we're gonna mix the egg salad. We're gonna taste what it's like with half a lemon's worth of juice. And if it needs more, we can always add more. But we can't ever take any away, okay? We can't ever end up taking any away, and so that's why we always do a little bit less than we actually need. Oh, interesting, Taza, I see. That sucks. I've had the other channel for so long. Man. Okay, I think I'll send an email in today. Okay, there we go, everybody. That's just some sour cream. That is just some lemon juice, some lemon zest, nice and aromatic. Okay, and thank you so much to Two Dads Kissing for the sub. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're having a really, really beautiful day today. Also, thank you to CK Tofu for the sub. It is lovely to have you. Welcome on in. Welcome to the new channel. Welcome to the cooking show. Hope you're all having a splendid day today. Okay, so once again, some sour cream, some lemon zest, some lemon juice, and now let's go get some of the other components that we need for today's salad. I have just 2 teeny tiny pathetic guys worth of celery. Have I seen Eminem's new song? That's right, he had that transgender line in it, didn't he? Okay, everybody, celery, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it in half lengthwise and then cut it into thin little batons. And so I hate massive pieces of celery inside of things like egg salads. I want them to be dainty. I want them to be delicate. I want very, very teeny tiny cubes, okay? If I get a massive bite of celery, it just overpowers everything else. So first, we just cut it into thin little batons. And we'll do the same with this one. But the celery just gives you really, really nice little fresh bite in the middle of all of that egg and sour cream, okay? So take it and slice it up, and take it and slice it up, and slice it up, and slice it up. And now, everybody, I'll take another look at my lovely matzo ball soup that we have going on here. I would say that water is still boiling way too aggressively for us. So let's just give that a little proper stir around and just keep it all cooking. There you go. Way too aggressive of a boil. Drop that heat back down, okay? And now all that I'm really looking for is a nice small dice. Okay? Nice little small dice. Want to get them all nice and cubed up. Really, really, really small, guys. Okay? I do not like massive chunks of celery inside of my egg salad. My scallions, I'll be a little bit, you prefer this channel's Kilo Love instead of the other channels? I'm glad you like it. The scallions I'm going to prefer in bigger chunks for sure. I really want to feel my scallions, but the celery is purely to flavor the salad. Okay? And in it goes, in it goes, in it goes. There you go. A bunch of little guys of celery. And all of that will go directly into the bowl. That's right. Also, G-Spent Gaming, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. So, sour cream, lemon juice, okay, a little bit of lemon zest as well. Let's go ahead and also get my scallions all ready to go. And everybody, As with many things in life, you can never have too many scallions. I love scallions to death. I get a ton of scallions anytime that I possibly can. Okay, and so for this amount of egg salad, I'm really gonna be, pulling out all the stops. This is how much scallion I want going inside of this thing. When I said a lot of scallions, I really did mean it. Okay, a bunch of scallions, because you can never have too many. And we're going to be treating the whites and the greens a little bit differently. The greens, I want them to be in these big sharp blades, and the whites, I want them to be a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab my scallions. And we're going to stack them up and we're going to cut them on a bias. Also, Vorpal Matt, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. We're going to take my scallions, stack them up, and we're going to give them a really, really thin slice. Thin slice all the way through. But we're cutting them on a bias so that we have these really awesome, like shrapnels of scallions, okay? And we slice it and we slice it and we slice it and slice it and slice it all the way through. And you can never have too many scallions. And the allium component inside of an egg salad, as it is with many things, is absolutely essential. You don't have to use scallions. You can use red onions, you can use sweet onions, you can use any kind of allium that you would like, but I just love the aroma and I love the texture of a really good scallion. So let's get that into my bowl. And let's get these little guys also processed in the same exact way. Take them, stack them, and slice them on that bias. Nice and thin. Nice and thin, everybody. Look at these blades. Look at them go. All the way through. Nice and thin. Okay. And everybody, last but not least, let's go ahead and get some scallion whites inside as well. These guys are a little bit thick. Okay, and normally while I do like them that way, I want to just slice them in half lengthwise first. Slice them in half lengthwise, stack them up, get them all nice and flat, and really, really thin slice. The white part of the scallion tends to be quite pungent, and so you don't ever want it in too big of a piece. Okay, so just slice, 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 nice and thin, until we get all of our desired little scallions. That's right, Death Owl. I didn't know if you guys heard the police sirens outside. But I guess you guys did. Okay, there you go. That is all of my scallions for today. Gorgeous, all ready to go. And then last but not least, everybody, the thing that really distinguishes my ideal egg salads is the sheer plethora of herbs that I'm going to add. We're going to be adding in dill and parsley, and I do mean lots of it too. I hate egg salads that just taste like mayonnaise and egg. I want them to be herbaceous. I want them to be flavorful. I want my egg salad to have a little something to say. I don't want it to just be egg and mayonnaise and completely homogeneous all the way through. I think those kinds of egg salads, for lack of a better word, I think that they suck. And so, I have all of this lovely fresh dill. Some of the dill is going to go directly into the soup instead, but a bunch of it will be used towards this as well. So look at all of my fresh dill. And everybody, as you all already know, we never chop fresh herbs in this household. We never crush them, we never destroy them. We're going to take them and we're going to gently bundle them up. And we're going to give it a super, super thin slice using the full length of our knives. Super gentle, everybody. Just like this, until we obtain a big pile of dill. Slice it and 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 slice it. And again, we will save some of this for garnishing the chicken soup itself. We'll put some in at the end and we'll put some in as garnish. We give it a rotation and we keep slicing it, everybody. We never chop it, we never crush it, we never destroy it. Always a really gentle slice. Okay, and we'll give it one last quarter turn. Go all the way through, all the way through, all the way through. Everybody, we have obtained some lovely minced dill. Let's go ahead and scoop it all up. And again, this little amount of dill we will be keeping for the chicken soup. The rest of it will be used for my egg salad. And I should probably grab another plate in the meantime. I can just probably put my eggs directly on the cutting board since we'll be using it in a second. And all of these guys, I'll just go ahead and take with me. Some of it for the chicken soup, some of it for garnishing. Okay? Everybody, we gotta do the same exact thing with all of my old leftover parsley. Let's get it nice and processed and nice and minced for my egg salad. Does anybody have any questions? We are in the final stages. The matzo balls have only 8 minutes on them left. They're beautifully simmering. They have become swole. We have a very delicious golden chicken stock. We're gonna take our parsley and treat them the same exact way as the dough. I want the very nice, delicate, fine slice. Is everybody still watching? I want to hear a nice yes, chef. I gotta break in this new channel somehow. Take that parsley, bundle it up, and slice it. And slice it and slice it and slice it. I want it thinly sliced because this is all gonna be used towards a salad. So if we have any chunks that are way too big, it's just going to end up really, really taking it over, okay? Do I have any pets? I do not carrot cube. I have some pretty strong opinions about pet ownership that I normally keep quite to myself, but I don't really see myself ever owning pets in the, pets aren't really for me. They're not really for me, and truthfully, I just want to first take care of myself before any other living being. While not a pet, I would love to adopt when I'm like 30 or 40, like a human, not like a cat. I would love to adopt a human by that time when I hit that point in my life. I think that would be really, really good to do. But right now, everybody, going through all of this and processing it and processing and processing and processing all of my parsley until it is as minced as I desire it to be. So, one more pass through, and then we'll scoop it in and put it inside of my lovely egg salad. Okay, let's go ahead and get all of these herbs, take them with a bench scraper. And now, everybody, we have to mix this through one last time. And this is why we separately mix the seasonings. It is so much easier to mix the seasoning into the sour cream than it is to mix it into the egg. Also, thank you so much, Slippy, for the sub. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. And now, my friends, the best way to go about this, and I've tried this so many different times. I've made so many different egg salads in the past. You gotta get in there. You gotta get in there with your hands, and you gotta get dirty. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a nice little glove. And we're gonna go ahead and just scoop out all of the sour cream and all of that goodness. And now, my friends, you know what we do? We take an egg and we destroy it in our hands. We take it and we break it up. And we break it up and we break it up. This is the best way that I have found to do this. And I've tried a few different methods. I've had a wire cutter, chopping on a cutting board, it gets so sticky, okay? This has been my best way to do it, guys. So we just take it and we smush it and we give it some individual love. Take it and we smush it. And we smush it in between our fingers and we make sure that we have no massive pieces. And guys, this is your egg salad at the end of the day. You are allowed to smush it and crush it as much as your heart desires. I want a nice heterogeneous texture. I want something very green, filled with a lot of herbs, okay? And let's go ahead and take it and continue just to smush it up. Hopefully not get any egg yolks onto the floor, because then it'll be impossible to clean up. But right now, I still have a couple of like really, really big pieces of egg white that I'm really preoccupied with just breaking up a little bit. Okay, and take it and smush it, and smush it, and smush it, and smush it, and get it all done. Get all of your egg nicely crumbled up, one by one. And I think I'm gonna do just the 5 eggs. We'll do all 6. I think we should do 6. So take it and smush it, and smush it, and smush it, and smush it. There you go. And last but not least, egg number 6, everybody. Take it and smush it all the way through. Having a glove is pretty essential for this process. I'm going to say this again and again. If you don't have a glove, you will meet the unfortunate texture of having egg stuck under your fingernails, which isn't all that pleasant. And now we must combine it with the dressing, and we must just chop up the egg whites until we get our desired consistency. I'm not looking for a mush, but I'm also not looking for anything too chunky either, okay? So big old bits of egg white, I'm just going to go in there and break it up. And now we go ahead and we make our egg salad, everybody. Just a 1/4 cup of sour cream. This thing is nice and moist, and it's nice and acidic, and I've actually forgotten something. I wanted some Dijon mustard in here, which I have completely and utterly neglected. So I'm gonna go with my egged up hand, hopefully, try to get some Dijon mustard back into this thing. I'd really, really, if I can avoid it, I would love to avoid, fine, I'm gonna have to take off this glove. I'm gonna have to take off the glove. You gotta have the mustard. It just adds in a really, really nice level of acidity. You have to have mustard in an egg salad. So I can't believe I forgot about it. Okay, and a little bit, a really, really tiny bit goes a long way, everybody. Too much mustard, and you can immediately feel it, and it immediately becomes overpowering, okay? So just get it in there, smear it up, and I'm gonna just, let's see if I can do this with a spoon now. And the answer is, I do think I can. Take it, chop it up, let's mix it all through. Let's mix that mustard through. I really do wish I got that part done a little bit sooner, but that's okay. And now we will obtain this really herbaceous, this really, really simple, aromatic, zesty egg salad. It has a lemon zest, it has a lemon juice, it has so much parsley, it has so much dill inside of it. My goal was to use up my existing leftover herbs, all of my leftover dill, all of my leftover parsley, and this was an amazing way to do so. Just chop it up, and that is the consistency that I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and have a little taste. That's quite good. Little bite of celery. A little bit of lemon juice. It's perfect. It's nice and balanced. Everybody, my egg salad has been officially completed. It's just gonna be served with a little piece of bread, okay? And we'll get to that in just a second. And now, I'm gonna put this behind me. Everybody, the matzo ball soup should now be officially done. Let's go to the stove. Let's go ahead and unveil it. And let's see what we are left with. And we should have a delicious, beautiful golden broth, everybody. We have these lovely matzo balls, nice and dense and nice and chewy, hopefully. And last but not least, I just want to let some of this dill cook into the soup itself. I just want to have some of it just go directly in like that. And just mix it all in. And that is my matzo ball soup. There she is. I'm very happy about this. Last check, we're gonna go ahead and check for seasoning. I just wanna make sure that my broth is salty enough, okay? I feel like I could use a little bit more. I'm just gonna cleanse my palate really quickly because I just had the egg salad itself. They keep trying to get me through my egg salad. They'll never catch me. Okay. With confidence, I can say that this could use a little bit more salt. It's a little bit bland to my taste though. Right, for, you know, my Jewish grandmother, I'm sure that this would be salted enough, but I like my food really thoroughly seasoned. So a couple more big pinches of salt, everybody. Get it in there. And just mix it all in. And then we'll plate and we'll serve it all and it will be delicious. Okay, and let's have another little taste. And that is now perfect. Everybody, it is time for us to plate and it is time for us to try the matzo ball soup. Is everybody ready for this? I would love to hear the yes, chef. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up my station, put a couple of things away while I have a second of time. Just let my soup cool down in that massive pot. It's just boiling hot liquid. You want a bowl? As do I, two dads kissing, and I will get one. And you can get one too if you go through the process of making this for yourself, which I once again highly encourage everybody watching this to do. If you've never had matzah, if you've never had a matzo ball, I'm telling you, they're so comforting, they're so delicious, they're so easy to make. This wasn't a lot of effort, was it? This was easy. We kind of threw all of this together. There's nothing to overcomplicate. We just kept it all chill. We kept it all really light. And so everybody, it is now time for us to plate. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a nice big generous bowl because after a day like today, I quite frankly deserve one. Okay, and maybe let's go ahead and get a gratuitous thumbnail shot while we're also at it. We have this golden chicken stock, we have these deliciously chewy matzo balls, and then we have some really nice tender cubes of carrot and celery. And so I'm gonna go ahead and grab 3 matzo balls for myself. Maybe 4. Let's do 4 matzo balls. And let's ladle in a bunch of that homemade chicken stock, guys. Nice and flavorful, nice and meaty. That's it. And this little guy can just sort of chill out over here. Very cool. And I'll just garnish the top of it with a little bit of dill. Okay. Everybody, I have officially made a lovely bowl of matzo ball soup. It is done. It has been completed. And last but not least, we got to go ahead and have a little side dish ready, which is going to be an egg salad that we've worked so hard on actually achieving and accomplishing. I'll go ahead and just take a nice big fat scoop of that egg salad alongside some black bread. And there it is. So that's my egg salad. Not all that impressive. It is just an egg salad, but I will be eating this with just a couple of slices of bread. There we go. Everybody, we have done it. We have finished everything that we needed to do for today. We have made our matzo ball soup. So let's go through this. Let's talk about everything that we have done here step by step, and then we'll close out for today. So this is the kind of food that I grew up with. It is simple. It is classic home food. I am Jewish. I grew up Russian Jewish. This is a very Jewish meal. Matzo ball soup. We made a homemade chicken stock out of chicken legs, chicken wings, and a chicken back with some onion scraps, with some carrot scraps, celery scraps, garlic, bay leaves, parsley stems, and dill stems. We made a matzo ball batter out of some matzo meal, out of some ghee, because we had some ghee, we had some lovely clarified butter, okay? And just some water, just some eggs, whipped it up, added carrots and celery, shredded the meat, and added it all inside, okay? And then we have these lovely chewy matzo balls. And now we also made an egg salad, perfectly hard-boiled eggs with scallions and parsley and dill and sour cream and lemon juice and lemon zest, celery as well. It's aromatic, it's really, really light, it's very zesty, it's not super, super heavy, and it's just really, really delicious. Yeah. So this bread that I'm eating this with, this is a black bread. This is an Eastern European rye bread. Okay, and it's made from like a very wet batter. It's like super dense and super delicious. We're gonna start off with just like a little potato salad, or not potato salad, egg salad, excuse me. Just like that, and hot. That's just a really good egg salad. It's really just simple. It's simple food. It lasts in the fridge exceptionally well. It's aromatic, it's perfect. Maybe a little too much celery, actually. I do wish I did like a touch less, but let's get another little scoop of that. Okay, and now, my matzo ball soup. So we go in, we break off a little piece, just like so, and you can feel how dense it is. You can really, really feel that density, and that is exactly what I wanted. I had no desire to have like a really, really light matzo ball. I wanted it to be dense, and I really wanted it to be chewy above all else. So I have these lovely chewy matzo balls. I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna go ahead and break off a little piece. Come on, buddy. Thank you very much. Guys, they're so comforting. They're so chewy. These are so good. They're so simple to make. They're so cheap. This is the peak of home cooking. They're really, really basic, but I haven't had matzo ball soup in a long time, so this is very nostalgic for me right now. Guys, that texture that the matzo balls have, it is so pleasant. It soaked up all of that meaty broth inside of it. It is so flavorful. It is so delicious. A little bit more. Would using a fork and knife be sacrilege? Sacrilege may be a little too aggressive of a word here, but would it just be not optimal? Yeah, I would just use the side of a spoon. I'm gonna have another sip and then we'll close out. I want another bite of this. Oh, we also gotta go ahead and get some bread. Just into the broth. Lovely. Okay. Everybody, that is it for today. Everybody, thank you for being here. This is the first stream of many to be on Daramgar TV. Daramgar will be retired in a couple of weeks. And so we'll be only doing things on Daramgar TV from now onwards. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. We'll get a bunch of stuff done, make this place even better for all of you. Thank you for coming with me. I hope you all have a really good rest of your Friday night. The next stream is going to be this Sunday, 5 p.m. EDT, twitch.tv/Daramgar TV. Okay, Daramgar TV. Every 5 p.m., every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. I hope you all have a really good night. Check out my Patreon if you haven't already done so, !Patreon, if you'd like to financially support the show. And I am going to be out for today. Good night, everybody. Be well and be safe.